Lord of Mystery. The Return of the Stars chapters 641 to 660. In the end, Hasta stayed in the southern continent and happily spent the new year with Audrey and Sharon. On January 5, 1353, Hasta took the wishing lamp to the starry sky. Above the Sonia Sea, outside the initial barrier, the wind was as fierce as a knife and rushed over. Hasta was covered with a layer of hazy starlight, and appeared here with the wishing lamp under his feet. He only needed to go a little further to leave the real world and go to the starry sky. The lamp god under his feet had already trembled with excitement. At this moment, he wished that he could grow his legs to cross this initial barrier and return to the starry sky. But no matter how excited he was, the lamp god did not say a word. He was afraid that because of his little words, Hasta would choose to turn back. Although the possibility of this was very small, he would never gamble at such a critical moment. Hasta just calmly looked at the initial barrier for a while, then crossed this barrier and stepped on the wishing lamp to reach the starry sky. At the moment when Hasta left the initial barrier and reached the starry sky, the sky that was originally bright in the daytime suddenly turned into night, and then the sky full of stars suddenly shone brilliantly. Each star seemed to be breathing rhythmically, and the entire starry sky followed suit, and the light of the stars gradually bloomed more and more dazzlingly between these pulses. At this moment, the entire real world was shrouded in the light of the stars. Unless you are a fool, any normal person can personally witness the abnormality of the entire starry sky. Day and night were reversed in an instant, and the stars gradually lit up and returned to their positions, and then the starlight was bright, not inferior to the light emitted by the sun during the day. In the southern continent, Sharon and Audrey, who had left the Balaam Empire Palace and were sheltered under the wings of Grey Carey, also witnessed this abnormality in the starry sky. They knew that Hasta had ascended to the starry sky at this moment. The starry sky was welcoming his return and began to celebrate. But this was not something that made people feel happy, but a very unsuccessful start. Audrey felt cold in her heart, and her white hands and snow-white face gradually lost their blood color and became icy cold. She understood Hasta's plan, which was to secretly ascend to the starry sky to complete the promotion ceremony and then return quietly. The less attention you attract in this process, the safer you will be. For this reason, Hasta deliberately stayed in the real world for a few months in order to confuse the judgment of Atum, the goddess of night, and other gods. But now, this scene in front of him undoubtedly told Atum and them that Hasta had left the real world and went to the starry sky. Otherwise, the starry sky would not have such an amazing change. Believe him. Sharon stretched out her hand and held Audrey's cold little hand, saying expressionlessly but firmly. Audrey held Sharon's hand in reverse, and also felt the biting cold from her hand, which was a few degrees colder than her own hand. In the Rorstad Islands, Bernadette and Rissel also looked at the abnormality of the starry sky above their heads with a solemn expression. This scene undoubtedly shows that the stars are returning to the starry sky. This is not a good thing. Rissel said in a deep voice. Be prepared to face the unknown fate that will bring huge waves. May the stars shine forever in the starry sky. Bernadette prayed to the starry sky as a devout believer. Seeing this scene, Rissel did not stop it, but sighed in his heart. It seemed that his precious daughter was really going to be snatched away, just like his second son Benoit chose to throw himself into the arms of Steam. Bernadette, his precious daughter, who was in his heart, now believed in the stars devoutly. Outside the palace, in a luxurious villa, Furs and Zio locked the door and looked up at the unusual starry sky outside through the window. They did not understand what this meant, but they vaguely knew that all this must be related to the stars. Shoo, I'm a little panicked. Is there going to be something serious? Don't worry, the light of the stars will definitely protect us. I hope you're right this time. If you're still worried, you can pray to the stars and believe that he will give you a response. No, I always believe in the kindness of the stars. Shu didn't say anything else. She also felt an inexplicable uneasiness in her heart, as if something big was about to happen. Leonard, who was traveling to South Wales, looked at the obviously abnormal starry sky, walked back to the hotel room quickly, closed the door, and even drew the curtains on the windows. Old man, come out and take a look. This situation is not right. It was clearly daytime just now, how did it suddenly become night?
And the sky is full of stars. Is the goddess of night going to war with the stars?
Or is there something else terrible? Leonard tried to keep his tone calm. This is the stars and the entire starry sky echoing each other. Pales turned into a shadow and came out of Leonard's body. Looking up at the starry sky covered by curtains and windows, the stars are returning to the starry sky that belongs to him. Is this a good thing? Leonard asked with difficulty. I don't know. I can't see through fate, let alone speculate on the existence of stars. I only know one thing now.
What is it? Run away, the farther the better, don't let Eamon catch up. Pales looked back at Leonard and disappeared from the room. If he stayed any longer, Leonard would have a greater chance of encountering Eamon.
The stars returned to the sky and made such a big noise. Even a sequence one like him has noticed the abnormality. Those gods rooted outside the original barrier, such as Adam, Eamon, and the true creator, must have seen through all this. Real chaos is about to come. Above the gray fog, Klein looked through Saphiric Castle with mixed feelings at the bright starry sky. This is the test that Mr. Hastur will face. Just as he took over Saphiric Castle, Mr. Hastur, who is in charge of the Hall of Stars, has already begun to challenge fate before him. The stars are returning, and Mr. Hastur will definitely return. This is a blessing from the fool. Klein whispered and continued to watch silently. He now dared not leave Saphiric Castle to avoid any unexpected events. This was the advice that Mr. Hastur left for him before he went to the starry sky.
If the starry sky changes, it means that real chaos is about to come.
Adam, the true creator, Eamon, who have been hiding for a long time, even the goddess of night, the original witch, and even the clones of the outer gods in the past who were summoned by the stars to the real world will do some crazy things. When everything is still unclear, staying in Saphiric Castle will be his safest harbor. Because no one wants the Lord of Mysteries to wake up at this time. Deep in the God-forsaken land, outside a huge gray fog barrier, today the four outer gods of the Mother Tree of Desire, the Superstar Overlord, the Original Hunger, and the Glorious Hunter gathered here. The stars have finally returned to the starry sky. This will be our best chance before the end of the world. The Superstar Overlord looked at the huge seal set by the Lord of Mysteries in front of him and spoke in a deep voice. Yes, I've finally waited. The Mother Tree of Desire nodded and looked at the starry sky that even the God-forsaken land was shining. The power caused by the stars returning to the starry sky has indeed caused the seal set by the Lord of Mysteries to loosen temporarily. When I think of the fallen Mother Goddess and the decayed king who are still waiting in the starry sky, I feel particularly comfortable. A simple smile crawled over the face of the Original Hunger. The Glorious Hunter, who appeared in the form of a female hunter, said coldly, "Let's start." The Superstar Overlord stopped him and said, "Don't worry, there are two friends who should come out of the dark first. This is my territory now. I have allowed you to move. Do I need to come out to greet you in person?" The figure of God appeared from the darkness, and then a huge black cross appeared in the sky, keeping a considerable distance from God. It was the real creator. The Superstar Overlord glanced at God and the real creator and said, "Their current attention is on the stars landing in the starry sky. Only you really understand what will happen. It is inevitable that the stars will return to the starry sky. The stars will return to their positions, and the first one to return is himself." God's eyes were filled with smiles, and then he looked at the seal blocked by the gray fog power. "If you don't want to cause trouble, directly seize the Source Castle and cooperate with this opportunity. Maybe you can really open the seal set by Weird. Are you going to miss this opportunity?" A playful smile appeared on the face of the Original Hunger. "Yes, I am not interested in participating in person. I just want to be a bystander. I wish you good luck." God smiled and said, looking at the real creator, "I am waiting for your arrival in the Chaos Sea." The figure of God disappeared and returned to the Chaos Sea under the Giant King's court. He is just worried that there will be some accidents later, but Adam will occupy the Chaos Sea instead. The Superstar Overlord saw through God's thoughts at a glance. No one knows what will happen later. If something goes wrong, after all, Weird is particularly sensitive to God's breath. The appearance of the real creator here proves that Adam must be hiding in the dark, The Chaos Sea is the foundation of God's current consciousness. God who already has the Chaos Sea will not take risks.
The Mother Tree of Desire looked at the huge black cross in the sky. Since you are not leaving, let's work together. Okay. The calm voice of the real creator came from the huge black cross.
Has something big happened in the God-forsaken land? Klein, who was sitting in Sephiric Castle, immediately noticed that the gray fog outside Sephiric Castle began to surge wildly. Their alert defensive posture seemed to be resisting some terrifying enemy.
Klein's heart trembled slightly. Sephiric Castle had helped him call up the images from the God-forsaken land.
In the depths of the God-forsaken land, in front of a huge wall with gray fog flowing, there were 4 difficult-to-see figures and a black cross fighting against the power of the gray fog on the wall, trying to pass through the gray fog and enter the unknown area ahead. When he saw this scene clearly, Klein felt an unprecedented call coming from the depths of the God-forsaken land. That call was like a mother calling her child back. The call from the depths of the soul urged Klein to go to the God-forsaken land, to the huge gray fog wall. Can't go. Klein pressed the chair handle with his 10 fingers, his body trembling constantly, trying to resist the call again and again. Can't go. Absolutely can't go. He had a hunch that if he appeared in the God-forsaken land now, the Lord of Mysteries would awaken and return in his body in advance. He absolutely could not take this risk. Otherwise he would be completely replaced by the Lord of Mysteries, without even a chance to struggle.
In addition to seeing the huge gray fog wall, Klein also saw a huge hidden demon wolf, with a black curtain draped over its body. The black curtain was constantly glowing, trying to break free from the demon wolf's restraints.
Under the intervention of the light of the black curtain, the demon wolf's figure could no longer be hidden and was forced to be exposed. Seeing this, the demon wolf decisively turned around and opened its mouth to tear off the black curtain draped over its body, letting it fly away, and it quickly escaped into the historical gap and disappeared. What is that? It should be an item of a high-level fortune teller, right? Seeing this scene, Klein had some guesses in his mind, and suddenly his pupils shrank tightly. He was shocked to find that the black curtain was flying towards the direction of Sephiric Castle.
It wants to merge with itself. No, we must stop it.
Klein screamed in his heart, but at this moment he was still trying to resist the call from the gray fog wall in the God-forsaken land, and he had no spare energy to control Sephiric Castle to take self-help measures.
He could only watch the black curtain flying towards Sephiric Castle.
Fortunately, a figure suddenly opened the historical gap, grabbed the black curtain tightly, and then tried to suppress the black curtain, suppressing it tightly, and then retreated into the historical pore and disappeared. Klein breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the black curtain was taken away by someone halfway. Once it flew to him, the Lord of Mysteries would definitely wake up in his body. Because that was the resurrection backup left by the Lord of Mysteries. Who could that person just now? A high sequence in the fortune teller path. Could it be Zaradul?
It must be him. Mr. Hastur once said that Zaradul had been wandering in the God-forsaken land, trying to find a sequence 1 extraordinary characteristic. Then if this black curtain is not a sequence 1 extraordinary characteristic, it must be the uniqueness of the fortune teller path.
That was close. Klein breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, his body could not bear the call and split directly. Half of his body turned into transparent, crawling and wriggling insects. I feel much more relaxed now. Klein controlled the remaining half of his body. He did not gather it immediately, but supported himself on the bronze table with one hand, and looked calmly at what was happening in the forsaken land of God.
In the forsaken land of God, Superstar Overlord and other outer gods looked towards the distant Source Castle at the same time. Mysterious breath, it seems that he can't wait to wake up and come back. He seems to have failed. It seems that we still need to thank this new Lord of Source Castle for his strong spirit.
Let's get started. After a brief discussion, Superstar Overlord rubbed out a huge and brilliant sun with one hand, and the glorious hunter turned into a silver arrow.
It's up to you. The golden sun in the hand of Superstar Overlord split open, and he drew the golden liquid flowing out of it and slowly injected it into the silver arrow transformed by the glorious hunter. The silver arrow was nourished and gradually transformed into pure glass color.
The pressure it exuded made the entire God-forsaken land tremble, and the surrounding space was constantly broken into black space cracks.
When the glass-colored arrow was completely transformed, it turned into a stream of light, shattered time and space, and pierced through the huge wall condensed by the gray fog, forming a fist-sized golden hole.
The gray fog began to roll and gather, squeezing in from all directions, trying to completely block this golden hole. At this time, the Mother Tree of Desire, the original Hunger, and the true Creator took action together to prevent the gray fog from gathering and squeezing, and maintain this golden channel. Boom! Boom! The sky of the entire God-forsaken land changed dramatically. The gray fog wall was connected to the entire sky and earth. The gray fog clouds gathered from all directions, and the gray fog power began to fill the entire God-forsaken land. The entire God-forsaken land, except for the giant king's court where the Chaos Sea was located, all other areas were destroyed by the gray fog power. There seemed to be a series of whispers in the gray fog and inside the wall.
The Mother Tree of Desire, the Superstar Overlord and other outer gods felt a familiar breath constantly awakening and returning.
It was the Lord of Mystery. The closer the power of the glorious hunter is to the core of the seal, the more it will be forced to stimulate the consciousness of the Lord of Mysteries to awaken. Can't go any deeper. The Superstar Overlord expression changed slightly, and he shouted solemnly. Don't break the seal, use all your strength to guide even if only one source substance flows out. The eyes of the Mother Tree of Desire moved slightly. Among the outer gods present, the Superstar Overlord, the original Hunger, and the glorious Hunter did not lose their source substances, only the torn part of his source substance Shadow World was inside.
He naturally hoped that the glorious Hunter could lead out the Shadow World that belonged to him, but this was not something he could decide. No one knew the situation inside, nor did they know which source substance was closest and had the best chance of escaping the seal of the Lord of Mysteries. As time passed, the gray fog of the entire God-forsaken land became thicker and thicker, and the silent murmur became more and more obvious, as if the consciousness of the Lord of Mysteries would wake up and return in the next moment.
Klein, who was on Saphira Castle, couldn't bear the call and split open on the other side. Transparent worms were crawling restlessly on the ground.
They didn't gather together, but scattered. Some were on the bronze table, some were on the chairs, and some crawled to the steps.
Is the Lord of Mysteries coming back soon? Klein looked at the increasingly thick gray fog in the God-forsaken land and the increasingly strong call. He could even see that the progress bar of the Lord of Mysteries awakening had risen to 80% and was gradually rising to 100%. Fortunately, his luck seemed to be very good, and fate was on his side today. When the progress bar of the Lord of Mysteries rose to about 90%, it stopped completely. The gray fog in the God-forsaken land was also gradually dissipating, and the clear call had become a whisper that could not be heard clearly. Sure enough, even the outer gods from the stars dare not let the Lord of Mysteries wake up and return at this time. This may be the only time they are kind to me. Klein smiled bitterly, then gathered the split transparent worms, restored his original human form, and looked at the forsaken land of God again. The glorious Hunter, who had originally turned into a glass-colored arrow and drilled into the gray fog wall, had now retreated to the forsaken land of God. Before he had time to say anything, his clone was like a porcelain crack, turning into countless light spots and dissipating.
Failed. The Mother Tree of Desire and the Superstar Overlord looked at the golden hole that was healing unwillingly.
The glorious Hunter's ability has been pushed to the limit, but it still failed to open the passage to the Western continent. Does it really take the Lord of Mysteries to wake up and return before the seal here can be completely broken? Primordial Hunger showed a thoughtful expression.
Damn mystery. The Mother Tree of Desire was the most unwilling.
This was the closest chance for him to reach the lost Shadow World.
Just when the golden hole was about to be completely blocked by the gray fog power.
The surrounding time and space seemed to condense together in an instant. A stream of light emitting milky white light rushed out at an imperceptible speed when the gray fog power was about to block the golden hole. That is a source. The light of hope rose again in the eyes of the Mother Tree of Desire. Stop it quickly.
The superstar overlord, the original hunger, and the true creator who also witnessed this scene tried to intercept the stream of light emitting milky white light.
They really made a small hole and drew out a piece of source material.
The king of giants, the god who has been watching the development of the situation in the Sea of Chaos, can't help but admire the old methods of the superstar lord and other outer gods at this moment.
He sensed it carefully for a while, raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and let out an undisguised triumphant laugh. The hard-working plan finally succeeded for that little snake.
It's so interesting, this is destiny. I can't wait to see their expressions of anger and helplessness as they return in vain.
God, who was in a very good mood, created an incarnation, humming a little tune and rushed to the place they were fighting for. When he arrived at the original location near Silver City, the stream of milky white light had broken through the obstacles of the superstar lord, the mother tree of desire, the original hunger, and the true creator, and was speeding in one direction.
How naughty. Yes, it's rare to regain freedom, and there are so many existences to welcome you. It would be too boring not to take the opportunity to tease them.
You keep working hard and I won't interfere. God smiled at them and said encouragingly. Almost, hurry up, you still have a chance. The real creator who was chasing after him looked at God, stopped chasing, turned around and left.
Superstar Master, Desire Mother Tree, and Primordial Hunger are not so easy to give up. Although they also realize that the source of essence is deliberately playing tricks on themselves, they still do not want to give up.
Don't give up, it's testing you. There is a saying in the human world that all heavenly treasures can only be obtained by those who are destined to do so. The Mother Tree of Desire, I am very optimistic about you. This is your opportunity, an excellent opportunity that can change your destiny. God shouted more and more enthusiastically.
Shut up. The almost crazy Desire Tree couldn't help but screamed at God.
God was not angry. Instead, he was in a happier mood and said with a smile, "Don't yell at me. Yell at it. Maybe it will get it. You know, sometimes the essence is just like a child, and some need to be coaxed. Some want to roar." As if after hearing these words, the stream of milky white light stayed in place for a second. The Mother Tree of Desire stretched out its black branches to wrap around the stream of light, but the next second, the stream of light appeared in the distance and streaked across the sky. The violent aura on the Desire Tree was almost out of control. The Superstar Master gave a deep drink before the Desire Tree regained consciousness, and then continued to chase the stream of light.
Such a pity. God sighed. He was just a hair away from driving the Tree of Desire crazy with just his words.
The stars return to the sky, and the gears of destiny turn again. Under the light of the stars, all destiny changes from then on. O fate blessed by the stars, we come to the right time in advance. O Mercury serpent who awaits the right destiny, he will hold the wheel of fortune at this moment. In Backland, in an ordinary courtyard, Will looked up at the bright starry sky. Step by step, under the shocked and frightened eyes of his parents, he walked from the door of the house to the sky above Backland, and his body gradually transformed from a human form. It turned into a giant mercury snake that could circle Backland. A silver-white giant snake with bright red eyes, no real scales, and dense patterns and symbols all over its body. They form wheels connected to each other, and there are different signs around each wheel. The tail and head wheels each have only half. He held a dice of probability in his mouth. At this moment, he swallowed it from his mouth into his stomach and began to accommodate it. In the right blessing of destiny, there is no possibility of failure. At this moment, Will easily accommodated the dice of probability of the unique destiny path. At this moment, only half of the wheels on his tail and head flew out and then reorganized. Form a complete wheel of fortune. Will's huge mercury snake body began to rotate, echoing the complete wheel of fortune. When the complete wheel of fortune was perfectly integrated into Will's body, Will Ossepton was successfully promoted to the sequence 0 wheel of fortune at this moment. After getting used to it for a while, Will slowly opened his eyes and looked down at the entire Backland. Below him was a large group of people running around in panic, but his eyes only reflected his parents in this life. With a slight sigh, Will turned his body in a circle, and all those in Backland who witnessed his promotion to the sequence 0 wheel of fortune had their fates related to it wiped out.
Any trace of the fate of the boy Will Acceptin has disappeared.
There will no longer be any memory of Will Acceptin here. After doing all this, Will returned to human form, looked up at the extraordinarily bright starry sky, and said in a deep voice, "May the eternal destiny bless Hasta Campbell forever." At this moment, the stars were shining brighter and brighter, and Will saw that the entire starry sky was trembling, causing the cracks in the entire original barrier to begin to shake and crack.
The goddess of night, Mother Earth, god of steam and machinery alone are unable to protect this initial breakdown of the barrier.
Not to mention, outside the starry sky, the skin-numbing outer gods of the past are taking advantage of this opportunity to attack the initial barrier with all their strength. Will just took one look and already made a decision in his heart. Just when he was about to go to the crack of the initial barrier to help the goddess of night and other true gods protect the initial barrier, his face suddenly changed, and his eyes suddenly looked towards the direction of the god-forsaken land.
His face was strange, and he murmured in disbelief, "No way.
Is this the true meaning of the correct destiny? But this is too incredible, isn't it?" Will was stunned for a moment, and the next second a stream of light emitting milky white light appeared in front of him, like a lively elf, rubbing the back of his hand intimately. Will spread his hands and let the stream of light fall on his palm. The milky white light converged, and the stream of light gradually gathered into a crystal clear, colorful key. The key of light. The source of the path of destiny.
It's really the key of light. One day to become a god, 1 second to become the old days. My legend will be passed down from generation to generation. Will tried to suppress the joy that gushed out of his heart, holding the key of light, and the key of light was imprinted in Will's palm.
At this moment, Will felt as if he could see all the chaos and unknowable destiny. He had not yet seriously comprehended this feeling. He looked at the mother tree of desire, the superstar lord, and the original hunger that were rushing in from a distance. He did not choose to stay, but left directly, away from Backland.
When the mother tree of desire, the superstar lord, and the original hunger arrived above Backland, they felt the extremely strong breath of destiny here, and their faces became extremely complicated. Haha, destiny is indeed the existence that likes to joke the most.
Original hunger laughed at himself and did not chase him anymore, but chose to go far away and end today's busyness. Is this the most correct destiny? The superstar lord sighed, knowing that things had developed to this point, and only the two clones of him and the mother tree of desire could not snatch the key of light.
I'm not willing to accept it. Haha, destiny. What about my destiny? The clone of the mother tree of desire showed signs of losing control again. This clone of his contained too many desires and lacked sufficient rationality.
Coupled with the continuous stimulation, losing control was inevitable.
The superstar lord looked at Backland below, and then at the bright starry sky, and finally did not let the desire mother tree get out of control here.
Let's go, leave here first. Where else can we go? Go and release your desires. Isn't this place good? The desire mother tree looked down at Backland below with a lustful gaze, and its body began to gradually swell, and black roots began to grow from the bottom.
If you stand on the street in Backland and look up, you can clearly see the black mountains about to fall.
The kingdom of the Mother Earth is more suitable for you to liberate your desires. The superstar lord found a reason to persuade the desire mother tree that was about to get out of control to let him suppress his desires with difficulty, and took him to the Fanaport kingdom that devoutly believed in the Mother Earth. On this day, in the Fanaport kingdom, all believers who believed in the Mother Earth goddess were transformed into beasts who only knew how to indulge their desires. People and dogs, cows, bears, goats, sows. Any creatures that can reproduce offspring mate and give birth to extremely deformed monsters. The Earth Mother, who was placed with hope, did not respond to the desperate prayers of the believers, and the Fanaport kingdom was destroyed. At the initial crack in the barrier, the Earth Mother kingdom began to disintegrate. The towering ancient trees, the flourishing vegetation, the streams and springs are losing their original brilliance bit by bit, gradually turning into a dead black, and then continuously breaking apart. This process seems to be irreversible, with only dead silence and no life. In the brilliant starry sky, the crimson moon is dazzling to the extreme at this moment. Its huge celestial body seems to be directly crushing the kingdom of the Earth Mother Goddess. If it weren't for the initial barrier still struggling to support it, the Crimson Moon would have completely invaded the kingdom of the Earth Mother Goddess.
You still have the faith of the Blood Clan. Let them all pray to you devoutly at this moment, maintain the anchor of their faith, and prevent the kingdom of God from continuing to crack.
The goddess of night ushered in a black curtain to help the Earth Mother Goddess temporarily block the influence of the Crimson Moon. The Earth Mother Goddess, whose body was covered with black veins, closed her eyes and began to issue oracles to the Blood Clan on the ground. After a while, as the pious prayers rang out, they turned into runes full of vitality, supporting the Earth Mother Goddess's kingdom that was constantly breaking apart. The Earth Mother, who had a short respite, soon faced the erosion from the Crimson Moon. The power of the Night Goddess also needed to protect the cracks in the initial barrier, so as not to let the outer gods of the old days take the opportunity to tear the initial barrier. Although they could not come in at the moment, they could gradually exert their influence through the cracks in the initial barrier. Under the brilliant starry sky, the initial barrier was crumbling.
It seemed that the power of the starry sky was constantly invading the initial barrier. The starry sky, the stars, is he the greatest invading force in the real world?
The Earth Mother could only murmur briefly, and then fell into the struggle with the fallen Mother Goddess for the authority of the Crimson Moon. On the other side, the kingdom of the god of steam and machinery was also facing a huge challenge at this moment. He not only needed to stabilize the cracks in the initial barrier near his kingdom, but also needed to help support the area that was originally stabilized by the kingdom of the Lord of Storms. His eyes did not look at the starry sky, but at the kingdom of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom.
At the moment when the stars ascended to the starry sky, Adam blocked the kingdom of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom. Now the crack of the initial barrier nearby has lost its support and has become the weakest part of the entire initial barrier. In the kingdom of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom, Adam looked around the empty kingdom, his face as heavy as water, and he said nothing. After a long time, he looked up at the brilliant starry sky above his head.
He could no longer sense the breath of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom, which meant that the God of Knowledge and Wisdom had either fallen or left the real world. So smart. At this moment, Adam already understood that the God of Knowledge and Wisdom had abandoned his kingdom and chose to go to the starry sky with the stars. Adam was silent for a while, raised his hand to destroy the kingdom of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom, and at this moment a voice came from behind. It's rare that there is still an empty kingdom of God, which can just be used as a temporary residence for me. Adam, you shouldn't mind, right? Will also entered the kingdom of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom, smiling and looking at everything in the kingdom of God. He does not have his own kingdom of God yet, because he has not created his own church. The school of life is just a school, and he has not asked the members of the school to believe in him. This is because of the particularity of the path of destiny. His promotion only needs to wait until the right time, and does not need to rely on a large number of anchors of faith to maintain his state.
Otherwise, his own destiny is in the hands of believers, so how can he control his destiny? Congratulations on waiting for the right destiny. Adam looked at Will, his expression gradually became solemn, and a rare surprise appeared on his face, Key of Light. My luck is not bad. When I succeeded in my promotion, it ran to my palm by itself, without even giving me a chance to refuse. Will sighed and said, such a destiny is really unexpected.
Listening to Will's obviously cute tone, a calm existence like Adam couldn't help but feel a little envious. Promoted to Sequence 0, and holding a source that is completely compatible with this path, this can no longer be described as luck. Think about the goddess of night. Look at the group of eager and restless outer gods in the starry sky. What they have longed for countless years, just fell into Will's hands so easily.
No wonder the mother tree of desire fell into madness and destroyed the place of faith of the mother goddess of the earth.
This is not your original destiny. Adam saw the key to the problem.
You are right. Will smiled brightly, showing his white teeth. I didn't understand it before. Until I was on the way here just now, I understood why I am so lucky today. Adam didn't speak, quietly waiting for Will's next words. Originally, in my destiny, the Fool was the key to whether I could be promoted to Sequence 0. The destiny you see now should be the same, right?
But another star appeared, with an unusual destiny. I was very resistant to the approach of the stars at first, fearing that he would interfere with my normal destiny.
Will smiled and glanced at the starry sky, and continued, but since destiny has appeared, it will not stop, and it will not change because of my escape. The bond between me and the stars has not become distant, but has become deeper and deeper.
Just when I was confused about my future destiny, the fool and the stars came to me together that day.
Thinking of the situation at that time, Will's mouth curled up slightly. At that moment I saw my destiny, and I also knew the right time point of destiny that I needed to wait for. The day when the stars return to the starry sky is the day when I will be promoted to Sequence 0.
It is only the fate of being promoted to Sequence 0, and not getting the Key of Light.
The silent Adam said, promoting Sequence 0 is your original destiny.
It is based on this point that he did not interfere with Will's promotion ceremony.
Otherwise, with Will's close relationship with the stars, he would not allow Will to get the Key of Light.
In his view, a Sequence 0, even if it is a path of destiny, cannot interfere with anything he wants to do.
Yes, this is the fate I should have. Will nodded in agreement and continued, so when the Key of Light suddenly appeared in front of me today, I was also extremely shocked. I don't understand why fate suddenly became like this.
I didn't figure it out until just now, Will said with a hint of sarcasm towards Adam. Since I can't see the fate of the stars, then I naturally can't see the fate caused by the stars, and you can't do anything about it either. The reason why I was able to advance to Sequence 0 is because of the fate brought by the fool, and the fact that I can obtain the Key of Light is the fate brought to me by the stars. That day they appeared together, and now I have been promoted to Sequence 0 and obtained the Key of Light in one day. Adam was silent for a long time and didn't say anything else. Do you know why I had to tell you so much? Will showed a wicked smile on his face as if he had succeeded in a prank, because my legendary day, a unique deed, needs a suitable person to show off. Now, go slowly, I won't see you off. Will raised his chin slightly, raised his head and waved his hand, signaling Adam to leave his kingdom of God quickly. You haven't mastered the source of the Key of Light. You haven't merged with the true creator either. Adam said nothing more and disappeared. It feels so good to talk to Adam like this. Will was in a good mood and waved his fist in the direction where Adam left. He had wanted to choke Adam for a long time, but he had never had the strength to do so, so he could only hide in backland to avoid disaster. Ahem, keep a low profile. I am half of the old days now, right? I should have the attitude of the old days. Will recovered his mood a little, walked around the kingdom of the God of knowledge and wisdom, and chuckled. This old guy is always full of wisdom in choosing his position.
After teasing the God of knowledge and wisdom, Will looked at the cracking initial barrier nearby. A huge wheel of fate was propped up from the kingdom of God, protecting the cracks in the initial barrier that the God of knowledge and wisdom needed to stabilize. He who still had strength to spare looked at the kingdom of the mother goddess of the earth, which had collapsed by 2/3, and did not choose to help. After scanning the initial barrier and confirming that the outer gods could not take this opportunity to invade the initial barrier, he faced the starry sky and smiled brightly at the group of outer gods who were watching here. Then he closed the kingdom of the God of knowledge and wisdom and prepared to start accommodating the Key of Light. It is not an easy task to fuse the source substance. Even he who controls fate needs to be careful. Originally, he wanted to wait for Hasta to return before trying again, but without the real Key of Light, he would not have such confidence in facing the ancient sun god. The only thing to be thankful for is that the God of knowledge and wisdom escaped and his authority has not been obtained by Adam. In this way, even if Adam merges with the real creator, he has the ability to protect people. Now we just need to wait for Hasta to return. Will's eyes were filled with deep worry. The changes in the starry sky today are enough to wake up those sleeping outer gods. The starry sky now is too terrible. The starry sky, today's dead and dark starry sky, was completely lit up. The old outer gods, who were already hovering outside the initial barrier, immediately sensed the source of the anomaly in the starry sky. Some woke up from their slumber and were still unclear about the situation. Some chose to rush to the source of the abnormality in the starry sky as quickly as possible, and some chose to continue to watch the development of the situation. In the past, the only outside gods who truly understood the inside story were the fallen mother goddess, the mother tree of desire,
and a few others who had contact with the stars. High-dimensional overlookers wandering deep in the starry sky have the ability to master space and are far more aware of subtle space fluctuations than other outer gods. The moment he noticed that the stars had crossed the initial barrier and returned to the starry sky, he rushed from the depths of the starry sky to the source of the anomaly. There, he did see the figures of the stars. He was sitting high in the palace of stars, looking ancient and mysterious, with an aura that could suppress him. The entire palace of stars is sparkling and shining with the veins of the starry sky, and a dense nebula envelopes the vicinity of the palace of stars. In the nebula, there is still a chaotic mist that came here first. With just one glance, he could tell that this was the other half of the uncertain mist of the Son of Chaos. The stars brought the wishing lantern that imprisoned half of the Sons of Chaos to the starry sky, allowing the Sons of Chaos to escape the seal and reunite completely. High-dimensional overlooker, are you here to welcome my return? From the depths of the nebula, the Son of Chaos's noisy laughter could be heard. The situation of the stars does not look very good. The high-dimensional overlooker's eyes were full of danger and temptation. You can go test it out. Faced with the instigation of the Jinn god, the high-dimensional overlooker did not act rashly, but instead hid in multiple dimensional spaces. As soon as he disappeared, a large shadow turned into a big mouth and swallowed several nearby planets together with the Hall of Stars. I won't be afraid of crushing you to death if I open my mouth so wide, the Jinn sneered, and then slowly exhaled, blowing away the big mouth. The next second, the Jinn who was accommodating the other half in the depths of the nebula suddenly felt alarmed in his heart. A force that seemed to come from fate separated the uncertain fog and the wishing lamp, trying to prevent him from returning completely. The ring of fate, you bastard acted so quickly, why didn't I rush you to death? The lamp god cursed and turned the wishing lamp while continuing to merge, forming a golden kingdom on the periphery to protect the nearby starry sky. A black figure comparable to a huge Jupiter popped out tentacles and drew towards the golden kingdom where the Jinn was. A villain made purely of flames, triggering flames that spread across the starry sky. A dark black hole quietly opened in the golden country, with strong tearing force that would swallow up everything here. An unspeakable and indescribable murmur sounded from the depths of the starry sky and from every corner of the heart, and chaos and filth descended. In the distance, 7 or 8 more attacks came from different directions deep in the starry sky. Grass. The Jinn god suddenly felt his scalp numb. Not to mention that he had not yet recovered his peak power. Even if he recovered as before, he would not be able to compete with so many foreign gods. Only the complete fallen mother goddess, god, and lord of mysteries can compete. Stars, I have tried my best to fulfill the agreement between you and me. If you want to escape this disaster, it depends on your own destiny. Let me in. The Jinn god tried to send the Palace of Stars into the initial barrier, but was shocked to find that the initial barrier had regarded the Palace of Stars as the outer god of the past in the starry sky, blocking it outside the initial barrier. Are the stars also beings rejected by the original barrier? So how did he enter the initial barrier in the first place? Could it be that he forced his way in by relying on his own authority? So the stars are also the old days of outer gods invading the real world. The Jinn didn't have time to think about it. The golden kingdom he propped up only bought him a few breaths of time. Stars, I have no other choice. The Jinn god gritted his teeth and forcefully drove the Hall of Stars into the depths of the starry sky. After doing this, he himself quickly rode the fog of uncertainty and left the place. The next second, silent destruction came from all directions, burying dozens of surrounding stars together. The stars are actually beings that were rejected by the original barrier. Did he really come from the starry sky? The high-dimensional overlooker who had hidden into multiple latitudes reappeared, scanning the depths of the starry sky and chasing after the stream of light transformed into the Palace of Stars. There were more than a dozen outer gods who had the same idea as him, but before they could catch up to the Palace of Stars submerged deep in the starry sky, a large number of outer gods started fighting out of instinct and hostility. A bunch of idiots. The high-dimensional overlooker ignored those idiots who had lost their minds and only had power. He, the Ring of Fate, the endless murmurings, and an outer god who also maintained his rationality pursued each other toward the Hall of Stars in tacit agreement. Soon, they successfully blocked the Hall of Stars deep in the starry sky. Although it was still galloping deep into the starry sky, in their eyes, the speed was not very fast. The high-dimensional overlooker was the first to test. He cut off a space and formed a space cage to trap the Palace of Stars inside. The so-called space cage was shattered on the spot with just a slight touch from the Palace of Stars. The Palace of Stars is still moving forward. The eyes of the high-dimensional overlooker narrowed slightly, and he could see that this was the power of the Hall of Stars itself, not that the stars were controlling it. The stars at this moment seemed to be in a somewhat abnormal state. Being able to break free from the constraints of his own space just by relying on his own strength proves that the status of the Hall of Stars may be higher than he expected. Perhaps the Palace of Stars is not an artifact, but a source of essence. No, it is somewhat different from the Sephira. While the high-dimensional overlooker was thinking, the Ring of Fate turned and closed, trying to trap the Palace of Stars in fate and unable to leave. But fate cannot be imposed on the Palace of Stars, and the so-called closed fate is also on the verge of collapse. Fate cannot trap the Hall of Stars. The Ring of Fate was also lost in thought, and the endless murmur was also exerting its authority at this moment, trying to invade the Hall of Stars and interfere with the stars inside. But his authority is also blocked from the Hall of Stars and cannot invade it. Another outer god induced nearby planets to directly attack the Hall of Stars with material attacks. The powerful impact caused the Palace of Stars to shift its orbit. Only affected by material things, the high-dimensional overlooker, the Ring of Destiny, and the unquenchable murmur also saw this scene and suddenly had an idea in their hearts. The high-dimensional overlookers who manipulate space use the power of space to attract a large number of nearby planets, turning them into a torrent of stars to hit the Palace of Stars with all their strength. The terrifying explosive power and impact were unable to destroy the Palace of Stars, but instead helped the Palace of Stars accelerate into the depths of the starry sky. Perhaps we can try to use gentler means to make the Palace of Stars stop. The high-dimensional overlooker had some thought in mind, and no longer tried to stop the Palace of Stars with brute force. Instead, he placed planets or large meteorites on its way forward, allowing the Palace of Stars to hit it on its own, in order to slow it down. The speed at which it travels. This move quickly took effect, and the speed of the Palace of Stars became slower and slower, and in the end, only a slow speed was left to move forward. In their eyes, this was not much different from standing still. Only then did they have the opportunity to gather around the Hall of Stars and look at it carefully. This Palace of Stars doesn't look very big, but even a random meteorite is several times bigger than him. They could only pass through the dimly shining Palace of Stars and barely see the ancient and mysterious stars inside, sitting motionless in their positions, that's all. Just as they were observing the Palace of Stars and studying the origin of the stars, a black portal suddenly appeared next to the Palace of Stars, trying to pull the Palace of Stars away. The gaze of the high-dimensional overlooker was cold and cut off the space. The Ring of Fate followed the destiny and found the outer god who couldn't wait to take action secretly. His unquenchable murmur directly shattered his body. An alien god died like this without even having a destiny. Seen from a distance, the high-dimensional overlooking person, the endless murmur, and the Ring of Fate seemed to be escorting the Palace of Stars. After leaving and returning, the jinn who was following from a distance saw this scene and secretly cursed. This is just like a group of hungry cats swirling around the fish in the water tank. At this moment, the high-dimensional overlookers, the Ring of Fate, and the endless murmurs are only blocked by the glass of the water tank. Once they find a way, the glass of the water tank will inevitably break. Without protection, the exposed fish can only be eaten by cats. Stars, I hope you can survive this time. The jinn sighed and chose to wait and see. Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. When the real night falls, the bright stars in the sky are no longer as eye-catching as they were during the day. Above the gray fog, Klein still has not left Source Castle. He will not leave Source Castle until the starry sky returns to normal. Today, in response to the wishes of the Tarot Club members, he held an additional Tarot Club so that they could come to Source Castle to discuss and exchange what happened today. After the disaster, he also wanted to sit aside and listen to their conversation, which could relax his tense nerves a little. Otherwise, he was afraid that he would gradually lose his humanity in Source Castle. Mr. Fool, good evening. When Audrey suppressed all the thoughts in her heart and said hello as usual, she sat in her seat and remained silent. Alger, who always liked to share information in advance, was hesitant to speak and finally did not speak. Forsee and Derek would not be the first to open the topic. Instead, it was Emlyn who was silent for a while and said solemnly, "On this special day today, the ancestor Lilith issued an urgent order. Oracle, he asked all members of the vampire clan to pray to him devoutly." Alger and others were very keen to capture the key word, emergency. The ancestor of the blood race, the mother goddess of the earth, actually issued an emergency oracle, which meant that the situation above the starry sky was far more dangerous than what was seen during the day. "Mr. Fool, do you know what exactly happened?" Emlyn looked at the fool sitting at the head with worried and pleading eyes. "The kingdom of Fenaport is destroyed." Klein calmly said this cruel fact. This scene was what he saw with his own eyes on top of the Source Castle. Today, the Lord of Mysteries tried to wake up and stimulated part of the Source Castle's abilities, allowing him to glimpse many secret things. The kingdom of Fenaport is the foundation of the faith of the mother goddess of the earth. It is the place of his faith. Now that it has been destroyed, the anchor of the faith of the mother goddess of the earth. Alger exclaimed and glanced at the even more worried Mr. Moon. Did not continue to finish the sentence. "It shouldn't be that serious. The faith of your vampires is still there. Although it cannot be compared with the huge number of believers of the Church of the Earth Mother in the kingdom of Fenport, it can still provide some anchors for the faith to prevent things from going to the extreme." Catalya added that there was one sentence she did not say. This group of vampires should really change their arrogant temperament and breed more new vampire members. This is the most correct way to believe in their ancestors. Ems Hermit, I praise you for your kindness and wisdom. Emlyn stood up and bowed to Catalya to thank her. This matter has already exploded within their vampire clan. Only half a day has passed, and some members of the vampire clan have begun to maliciously speculate that the ancestor Lilith has encountered something unexpected. There were even 2 senior members of the vampire clan who suddenly died suddenly, which caused the entire vampire clan to fall into a state of panic and confusion. After discussing for a while, Alger had the courage to ask, "Dear Mr. Fool, is this change in the starry sky related to the stars?" Klein slightly raised his head to look up at the starry sky, and said in an inexplicable tone, "The stars have returned to the starry sky." Are the stars returning to the sky? Is there any symbolic meaning in this? Alger desperately wanted to know, but he also understood that he was not qualified to know the real secrets now. What happens after the stars return to their alignment? Audrey, who was silent, couldn't help but ask the question she longed for most in her heart. The stars will align, chaos will rise from the earth, and the great first will awaken. Klein murmured in his heart. He didn't know whether the future would gradually move towards this ancient prophecy. But there are already many signs that this prophecy has come true. The Sea of Chaos controlled by God appeared deep under the King's Court of Giants and was imprisoned in the Wishing Lantern. The Lantern Gods, part of the Sons of Chaos, have now followed the stars from the real world to the starry sky. The Sea of Chaos and the Son of Chaos can both symbolize the prophecy that chaos will rise from the ground. According to this understanding, the original creator will awaken in the future. The fate of the future will change from now on. This was Klein's final reply to Audrey. Catalya's eyes moved slightly when she mentioned fate. She once entrusted Mr. Fool to trade a drop of blood with a mercury snake in the path of fate. Today, when the stars were shining brightly, she was also drawn by fate and saw Backland, a huge mercury snake, connected end to end to form a wheel of destiny and then flew into the starry sky. In addition, she also vaguely heard the words, correct destiny. Does Mr. Fool think the stars will return one day? The stars were there before, the stars are here now, and the stars will be there forever. Klein met Audrey's hopeful gaze and gave the most certain answer and blessing. The starry sky and the palace of stars have completely stopped moving forward. It is floating quietly in the depths of the dark and silent starry sky, looking like a particle of cosmic dust. The high-dimensional overlooker, the endless murmuring, and the ring of fate are arranged in 3 directions, each using their own way to touch the palace of stars, trying to understand the secrets contained in the palace of stars and the stars.
Stars, return to their places, wake up. If I hadn't had contact with him in the Hall of Stars, I would have really thought that the stars were the conscious incarnation of the original creator.
The high-dimensional overlooker had a strange look in his eyes. He tried to use his authority to explore the Hall of Stars, but he did not gain anything significant. The hazy starry sky around the Hall of Stars seemed to be able to isolate all peeping and invasion.
To be more precise, the Hall of Stars and them were not in the same world at all.
But the material things just now could hinder the progress of the Hall of Stars, which made him very puzzled. If it was just a pure illusion, it would not be interfered by matter.
Find a way to destroy him. The ring of fate ended its peeping. His fate could not be imposed on the Hall of Stars, nor could he spy on the fate of the stars.
The fallen mother goddess may have a way. The unextinguished whisper also agreed to destroy the Hall of Stars and the stars. The fallen mother goddess is indeed the best choice. The high-dimensional overlooker smiled and recognized this sentence, but the next second, he used the meteorite blocks floating on the side to form a material cage, trapped the Hall of Stars inside, and then pulled it into the endless latitude space away.
Although the ring of fate and the unextinguished whisper reacted quickly, they were no match for the high-dimensional overlooker's authority over time and space in this regard, and could only watch the high-dimensional overlooker flee away. Hey, look at what I saw. The great ring of fate and the proud unextinguished whisper were easily fooled by the high-dimensional overlooker. This is really interesting. The lamp god's mean voice came from the starry sky not far away, accompanied by a whistle of ridicule.
The ring of fate just glanced at the lamp god, and had no intention of chatting with him. A complete ring of fate reversed backwards, and the lamp god's solid figure gradually became illusory, and it was about to split into the uncertain fog and the wishing lamp again. This was the ring of fate exerting its authority to change the fate of the lamp god gathering the uncertain fog.
Destiny, it's no longer in your hands. The lamp god sneered, solidified his body again, and the chaotic breath spread to forcibly break free from the shackles of fate. Do you want to be the object of ridicule by the high-dimensional overlooker in the future? After the unceasing muttering, he left the starry sky and disappeared.
The lamp god chuckled, "Ring of fate. Do you know that the key of light has appeared and has fallen into the hands of a wheel of fate, and he represents the correct fate?" The ring of fate said nothing and left silently. "I don't believe you don't care at all. One is fate, and the other represents fate itself. This is an inevitable hostility. And the insidious and vicious woman of the fate weaver, he is best at hiding in the dark to weave and manipulate fate." The lamp god quickly put away his thoughts and looked in the direction where the high-dimensional overlooker fled. He also had no ability to catch up with the high-dimensional overlooker. In the depths of the starry sky, the mysterious area of chaotic time and space is hidden under multiple dimensions. After confirming that he had gotten rid of all the chasing outer gods, the high-dimensional overlooker showed up with the Hall of Stars. "Stars, you finally fell into my hands. How should I deal with you?" The high-dimensional overlooker looked at the star hall floating in front of him without any movement, and couldn't help but think of the friendly greetings from the stars to him recently. In all his life, he had never been so embarrassed, being chased by the stars and fleeing all over the starry sky. Although the damage caused by the stars to him was minimal, it was extremely insulting. What made him even more angry was that he could not follow the starry sky to reach the star hall and confront the stars head-on, completely losing the initiative. The high-dimensional overlooker looked deeply at the seemingly insignificant star hall floating in front of him. "I may not be able to break through the star hall, but I should be able to bury you completely in the starry sky." He had already thought of a suitable place for the stars in advance. After the fall of the first creator, everything he gathered began to disperse, and the entire universe began to have vitality. But there are also some places that contain the greatest malice of the first creator. That is the place of death that even the outer gods were unwilling to set foot on in the past, a taboo place. The ultimate land, which comes from the original malice, is also known as the land of evil thoughts, the place of sleep, and the abyss of sin. If the original barrier is the goodwill left by the original creator to the earth, then the ultimate land is the pure malice of the original creator.
Once there is any existence, whether it is material or ethereal spirit, as long as it approaches that area, it will be swallowed and refined, and completely disappear from this starry sky.
There were outer gods who accidentally entered this area, and then under the gaze of other outer gods, they completely fell and disappeared, without even a little room for struggle.
Some outer gods who are very secretive about this area speculate that the consciousness of the original creator is sleeping in it. Even if it is sleeping, his instinct is constantly gathering everything.
So no matter what it is, as long as it enters his influence, it will be gathered and become a part of the original creator. At first, many outer gods sneered and disdained it, claiming that if the original creator still had his own consciousness, then this universe would not start to restart.
Later, this ultimate land expanded its boundaries a little bit every year, although the speed was very slow.
But this is enough to make the outer gods' old ones extremely afraid of this. Perhaps when the original creator's sleeping place covers the entire universe, everything in the universe will repeat itself. Some outer gods' old ones have roughly calculated that it will take at least hundreds of trillions of years for this sleeping place to devour the entire universe. The high-dimensional overlooker fiddled with the Star Palace for a while, and confirmed that he could not open the Star Palace with his authority, so he took the Star Palace to the ultimate place of this starry sky.
When the high-dimensional overlooker came to the border of the ultimate place, he met the original hunger who had been waiting here for a long time.
"Don't leave in a hurry." Original hunger shouted to the high-dimensional overlooker who wanted to flee immediately. "We can talk." "Talk about what?" "Talk about the Star Palace in your hand, and talk about the origin of the stars." The high-dimensional overlooker came out of the multi-dimensional space, and the Star Palace was blocked by the material cage formed by meteorite blocks. "Do you know the stars well? I should know more than you and all of you." Primordial hunger spoke gently, his eyes sweeping across the dark and silent starry sky in the distance.
Then the fallen mother goddess, the unextinguished whisper, the mother tree of desire, the superstar overlord, the decayed king, the son of chaos, a bunch of outer gods of the past came here at the same time. Facing so many outer gods of the past, even the high-dimensional overlooker who holds the power of time and space has to treat them with caution. He alone can never fight against so many outer gods of the past. Even if he wants to escape, it is impossible. Even if he is allowed to escape, he will inevitably fall. Are you gathered here to enjoy the scene of the stars falling together? The high-dimensional overlooker looked at the camp headed by the fallen mother goddess. For the stars, the hatred in the heart of the fallen mother goddess is definitely greater than his own. "Stop your stupid behavior," the fallen mother goddess said slowly, "although I really want to destroy the Hall of Stars and let the stars fall. Do you think that the malice left by the original creator can't destroy the stars?" The high-dimensional looker looked at the empty starry sky in front of him, without any planets, no light, and no material existence. There is the ultimate place, the place of sleep, and the forbidden place. Once you step into that area, you will fall completely and return to nothingness. There has never been an exception. He doesn't think that the stars can compete with the original creator. This is obviously impossible. When the stars return to their positions, chaos will rise from the ground, and the great first will wake up. You should have heard of this ancient prophecy, right? If you don't want the original creator to really wake up, don't let the stars enter the ultimate place in front of you, the place of sleep. The calm answer of the fallen mother goddess made the high-dimensional looker fall into thought. He has heard of this prophecy, but he has never believed in prophecies and fate. That is the favorite topic of beings like the Ring of Fate and the Weaver of Destiny. Is there really the consciousness of the original creator left in it? That is not the consciousness of the original creator. The myth of the fallen mother only said this, but did not further explain what was in it. Fallen mother goddess, what are you deliberately hiding? The high-dimensional overlooker questioned. You are not qualified and have no ability to question, hand over the stars. Seeing that the fallen mother goddess had no intention of continuing the conversation, the original hunger smiled and made a round, You only need to know that once the stars enter, the original creator will wake up in advance and begin to gather everything, and the entire universe will be re-evolved.
The high-dimensional overlooker was silent for a while, and then sent the Hall of Stars floating in front of him to the middle of the two different factions of the fallen Mother Goddess and the original hunger. It is normal for the fallen Mother Goddess to know the secrets here, but you, the original hunger, why do you know all this so well? The high-dimensional overlooker still wanted to ask clearly. Primal Hunger smiled and said, I don't know what's in there. That should be a secret known only to the fallen Mother Goddess, God, and the Lord of Mysteries. I just know more about the origin of the stars.
You don't mind sharing it, do you? Of course. Primordial Hunger looked at the Hall of Stars, but did not directly grab it. Instead, he looked carefully for a while before saying, where do you think the stars come from?
Are the stars really not part of the original creator? The one who asked the question was the Superstar Lord. No, he does not belong to this universe. Primordial Hunger's eyes were deep. He is not part of the original creator. His arrival was an accident, and it is a mystery that has not yet been solved. Except for the fallen Mother Goddess, the other outer gods were shocked by Primordial Hunger's words.
The stars that can echo with this starry sky are not part of the original creator. On the contrary, he comes from an unknown place that is unknown. But this universe should have included everything. How can there be something outside the universe?
Silence, silence. After a while, the Mother Tree of Desire asked, how did you get this information? Because I'm lucky. Primordial Hunger's tone was mixed with excitement and joy. I was fortunate to witness how the stars broke through the boundaries of this universe and descended into this starry sky. That was a scene I will never forget. He just went through endless chaos from the unknown and unknown, crossed the boundaries of the universe, broke through the protection of the original creator, and descended here with a brilliance that was difficult to look at directly. Primordial Hunger was obviously immersed in memories, and his tone became excited. Before the stars came, I never imagined that there were other things outside this universe. I was shocked, terrified, and then deeply yearned.
Leave this universe, look at everything from a perspective outside the universe, and pursue the true ultimate mystery. This is the real reason why I am willing to go to the Hall of Stars and make friends with the stars.
Primordial Hunger seemed to have seen something outside this universe, and his form began to tremble violently. Although what you said is sincere and interesting, I still don't believe it. It's just a lie you carefully made up. The Ring of Fate spoke coldly, breaking the atmosphere created by the original hunger. If the stars really came from the universe and passed through the protection of the original creator, how could they perform so poorly at this moment? Not to mention being equal to the original creator, at least it should be far beyond the three pillars of the fallen Mother Goddess, God, and the Lord of Mystery. His performance is seriously inconsistent with the status you said. For such questioning, the original hunger was very calm. He glanced at the Hall of Stars and whispered, "This is the price he paid when he came to this universe." This time, the Ring of Fate did not continue to question, but fell into deep thought. The Mother Tree of Desire, the Superstar Overlord, the high-dimensional Overlooker and other outer gods of the past could not help but think about what the original hunger said. According to the story told by the original hunger, it is indeed very reasonable. This explains why a star suddenly appeared, how the stars passed through the initial barrier and entered the earth. Why is the Hall of Stars so strange and extraordinary? No matter how powerful the outer gods were in the past, they could not shake it at all, because it does not belong to this universe. Just like the characters in the picture, no matter what abilities they use, they cannot harm the people outside the picture. No, your statement still has obvious loopholes. This time, the one who questioned it was the lamp god. Hearing the question from the lamp god, the original hunger did not show any special expression, but just said with emotion, "No matter what the facts and truth are, there will always be people who come out to question the truth." Hee, don't make yourself sound so wrong. The lamp god obviously didn't buy it, and said coldly, "If everything is really as you said, the stars come from outside the universe, then why did you only see him when he crossed the boundary of the universe?" Crossing the boundary of the universe is such a striking movement, and the stars are so closely connected to the starry sky, his arrival is bound to cause the entire starry sky to echo. Another point, Why are you sure that the stars can awaken the original creator? Make such a judgment based on an ancient prophecy? When did you become as superstitious as the old charlatan of the fate ring? The fate ring that was pointed out glanced at the lamp god with a bad look. Sure enough, after so many years, he still hated the mouth of the son of chaos. I said, my luck is better. The original hunger smiled and replied. Do you think this can be explained by luck? The lamp god said disdainfully. And the black devourer who has been following you, isn't he very close to the stars and has always wanted to meet them? Why didn't he show up in such a lively scene today? Not even an incarnation came. Primordial hunger was silent for a long time before he sighed and said, I knew that the lies would be exposed one day. Now you can talk. Hearing this, the lamp god almost swore. It turned out that what primordial hunger said before was so sure, but it was just a story he made up. And after being exposed, he could still speak shamelessly. I am not as bad and shameless as you. The lamp god felt a deep contempt in his heart, and he suddenly felt that his character in the past was still noble. The original hunger who saw through the lamp god's thoughts said with a smile, if you, a bastard, said that, no one would stand up to question it, because no one would believe what you said. In comparison, my character is much better than yours. Quote. The lamp god felt that his heart was stabbed hard for some reason, and finally just said coldly that it was boring. What you said just now is all nonsense. The high-dimensional overlooker and other outer gods also looked at the original hunger at this moment. Yeah, how could I have seen the scene where the stars broke through the boundaries of the universe and landed here with my own eyes? I am not the goddess of luck. The original hunger answered easily. This sentence undoubtedly attracted a lot of hatred, but the original hunger didn't care much, just happily looked at the star hall floating in the starry sky. If you have enough nonsense, end the farce. The fallen mother goddess spoke, and the fallen authority belonging to her spread over most of the starry sky, pulling everything here into the endless dark abyss of depravity. Except for the star hall and the faint light that was still flickering, any other light was swallowed up. The fallen mother goddess suddenly took action, disrupting the short-lived peace. Other outer gods of the past also exerted their own authority at this time. Some wanted to leave the fallen mother goddess's fallen abyss, while others took advantage of the chaos to seize the Hall of Stars, thus creating greater chaos. In this fallen abyss covered by the authority of the fallen mother goddess, all five senses and even the spiritual level could not distinguish everything around them, and there was only pure darkness. Fortunately, the faint light of the Hall of Stars provided some guidance for the outer gods of the past. But soon, the faint light of the Hall of Stars was also covered up, and only the eternal fallen abyss remained here. An outer god used too much force to break through the abyss, causing him to lose his direction and plunge into the range of the ultimate land. In just a blink of an eye, he was completely turned into nothingness and fell without a trace. Idiot! The lamp god cursed. When the fallen mother goddess suddenly took action, he remained motionless and was very calm. He was quite experienced in dealing with the fallen mother goddess. It was not until the light of the Hall of Stars was obscured that the lamp god felt that something was wrong. First, the primordial hunger admitted to lying, and then the fallen mother goddess suddenly took action. There must be some inside information that he knew. The fallen mother goddess and the primordial hunger must have other information about the stars. Also, when he talked about the issue of the black devourer just now, the primordial hunger did not answer. What kind of inside information do they know? Could it be that the story of the primordial hunger with many loopholes is actually what happened? The lamp god thought for a while and felt that it was too brain-consuming and could not come up with a result. This was definitely not because his brain was not enough. Well, this must be the spiritual influence of the fallen mother goddess. It's really vicious, just like that bastard Weird. Without further delay, the lamp god broke through the influence of the fallen mother goddess's authority and tried to explore the location of the Hall of Stars, but he didn't find it. When a group of outer gods fought in anger, the fallen mother goddess put away her fallen abyss and made this starry sky bright again. But the Hall of Stars has disappeared, and there is no trace of the primordial hunger. Fallen mother goddess, you actually lost to primordial hunger in the fight just now. The lamp god who saw this scene wanted to ridicule but was too shocked. It was not only the fallen mother goddess who took action just now, but also several outer gods who were in the same camp as her. On the primordial hunger side, the mother tree of desire, the superstar overlord, and the decayed king did not help her. The fallen mother goddess did not answer the question of the lamp goddess. She led the ring of fate in the unquenchable whisper and left here quickly, as if to pursue the original hunger. The Hall of Stars must have fallen into the hands of the fallen mother goddess. She deliberately created the illusion that the original hunger had taken away the Hall of Stars.
The lamp goddess suddenly made a magnificent voice that spread across most of the starry sky. After that, he quickly went to the starry sky where the original hunger might go. The mother tree of desire, the superstar overlord, and the decayed king remained in place.
Do you think the Hall of Stars fell into the hands of the fallen mother goddess or was secretly taken away by the original hunger? The superstar overlord asked. If it fell into the hands of the fallen mother goddess, we have no way to take it away, and we can only bet on the original hunger, the decayed king said stiffly.
Today, the original hunger gave me a very strange feeling, so strange that it was scary, as if a soul suddenly changed in his body. The words of the mother tree of desire made the superstar overlord and the decayed king feel bad. They all remembered that the primordial hunger seemed to have fought a huge battle with the Black Devourer before, and then the Black Devourer disappeared, suspected to be devoured by the primordial hunger. It was not until the primordial hunger introduced the Black Devourer in the Hall of Stars that they got a glimpse of the outcome of that battle. Was the primordial hunger really the winner? Perhaps, after that battle, his identity was replaced.
Is this possible? This speculation is too shocking. Is there really some kind of existence that can replace an outer god in the past? After such a long time, it has not revealed its flaws until now? Today, the fallen mother goddess has a different fear of the primordial hunger. There must be something we don't know about it. Stars, primordial hunger, Black Devourer, there must be some connection between them. It's time to decide, otherwise you won't be able to catch up. After a brief analysis, the mother tree of desire, the superstar overlord, and the decayed king chased the starry sky related to the Black Devourer that they had seen in the Hall of Stars through the authority of the stars. If the Black Devourer is still incubating, he must still be in that starry sky. Backlund, the first pope of the Yellow Church, Lady Lisa, has often looked up at the starry sky since the abnormality of the starry sky. Her focus is different from others. She is looking at whether the black star in the prophecy will appear. And how will it resonate with the stars? But the result shocked her. The stars ascended the starry sky, and the stars in the entire starry sky were resonating with the stars, which was particularly bright and dazzling. Only the black star never appeared. If the stars are the king of yellow, then the black star in the prophecy cannot disappear at this time. Unless, the king of yellow has never been the stars, the two are not the same. In order to verify her guess, she prayed to the stars, the king of yellow, and the black star one after another. The stars did not respond, there was only a dead silence, and the king of yellow did not move. Instead, the black star gave her a feeling of waking up. She didn't dare to continue praying and hurriedly cut off the connection. Fortunately, Black Star didn't care about the peeping of a tiny human being, so she didn't die on the spot because of the blasphemy. Such a change made her feel deeply afraid. Everything was too terrible and too crazy. She didn't dare to think deeply about this problem, nor did she dare to think about any trivial details related to it. In the years to come, she would not mention it again, but would bury it deep in her heart, letting this horrifying truth accompany her coffin forever. In the end, she just told all the believers of the Yellow Church that they could pray to Hastur. She chose to believe in Count Hasta Campbell, who had lived in Backlund. Because she had personally witnessed the strong humanity in the other party, he would definitely not bring disaster to those who believed in him. In the dark and desolate starry sky, a black star is breathing like a human heart, steady, powerful and rhythmic. All the planets and material life around it are shaken into powder in the breath here. When the lamp god, the mother tree of desire, the superstar master, the decayed king, and the glorious hunter arrived here one after another, the black star was still breathing steadily, and did not seem hurried because of the visit of guests. Above the black star, the original hunger was holding the star hall in a victorious posture, overlooking the 5 outer gods who came here. I didn't expect that the story of the stars returning to the starry sky would be solved by us, the members of the star meeting. Should this be called irony or fate? The tone of the lamp god was rarely serious. This may be the guidance from the stars. The mother tree of desire was also a little complicated. The stars have returned to their positions, he has returned to the starry sky, and we are here. Is this the right destiny for the future?
It seems that everything will end here. Only the glorious hunter did not speak. His eyes were always fixed on the black star, as if he had noticed something. It is you, the gathering of the stars made you appear here. The original hunger was not surprised at all by this scene, because the fools of the fallen mother goddess had been led away, and only in the outer gods of the old days above the hall of stars could this covered starry sky be found. Original hunger. Or do we need to change our name?
The mother tree of desire did not beat around the bush and directly tried. I said that lies will eventually be exposed. Seeing that the original hunger did not deny the mother tree of desire's guess, the lamp god had a question mark on his forehead, thinking that something seemed a little wrong.
Does the original hunger have other different names?
Or has he been replaced? Who did such a horrifying thing?
The lamp god was shocked, but did not ask, but acted as if he also knew everything.
You are not the original hunger. The mother tree of desire sighed, and its branches and leaves began to grow vigorously. Its black tentacles spread a large black net in the starry sky, ready for battle. Unbelievable truth. Who are you? The superstar overlord asked sternly. Who am I? The original hunger holding up the hall of stars seemed to be amused by this question. I have too many identities, so many that I can't count them all. You should know the yellow church founded by the stars, right? Primordial hunger turned into a human figure wearing ragged yellow clothes and a pale mask. The yellow king they always believe in is my incarnation. The black star in the yellow church's canon is also me. The nameless one who once strolled around the edge of the original barrier is also my incarnation. Well, it is this incarnation that occupies the body of primordial hunger. You can also call me Hasta, this name originally belongs to me. Primordial hunger took a special look at the Hall of Stars after he finished speaking. Hasta Campbell, the one in front is me, and the one behind is him. Are you Hasta, the old one? The tone of the lamp god was rarely trembling. He knew some information about this existence. In the era when Russell was there, Hasta was a very famous old one in the legend.
Also known as the Nameless One, the Lord of the Starry Sky and Deep Sea, the King in Yellow is just one of the more well-known incarnations of him.
The outer gods such as the Mother Tree of Desire and the Superstar Overlord did not quite understand what the name Hasta meant, but instead focused more on the second half of the words said by the genie.
The ruler of the Old Ones. What a big tone, do you want to rule all the Old Ones?
The fallen Mother Goddess, God, and the Lord of Mysteries are essentially one of the Old Ones, but they symbolize the 3 pillars and have a higher status than ordinary Old Ones. To rule them, unless you are the original creator.
Old Ones, such an old name, I guess you are not comfortable with this name. Primordial hunger smiled and glanced at them, but this is the fact.
The fear of the fallen Mother Goddess is not without reason. She has seen something vaguely, but it's a pity that her brain is not very useful. I told her to join forces to deal with the stars, and she believed it easily.
If it is God and the secret, I may need to waste more energy to successfully obtain the Hall of Stars.
Although the other party was very interested in insulting the fallen Mother Goddess, the lamp god sneered and mocked. Don't brag. If you really have such a terrifying power, do you still need to say hello to the stupid fallen Mother Goddess? We need to join forces, haha. The old ones are just like this. The superstar overlord also had contempt in his tone.
Alas, I once said that crossing the boundaries of the universe requires a price, especially at that time when the residual consciousness of the original creator was still strong. It caused me to fall into a long sleep, so someone borrowed my name and went to the Hall of Stars first.
Hasta Campbell is a good name. The original hunger spoke slowly, and he didn't seem to be in a hurry at all.
You and the stars are from outside the universe. The decayed king couldn't help asking.
Of course, this universe already has the 3 pillars of the fallen Mother Goddess, God, and the Lord of Mystery to stabilize the entire universe. Is it possible for the existence of stars to be born?
The Decayed King did not ask any more questions. He believed this statement because he himself had guessed the same.
Does anyone else want to ask questions? I am in a good mood now and can satisfy your little curiosity. Outside the field, the god of the old days could feel the face of the original hunger hiding behind the mask with a bright smile. He is stalling for time. The glorious hunter looked around at the original hunger with the attitude of examining his prey. Are you in such a hurry to do it? Don't you want to hear what story there is between me and the stars? The original hunger was not panicked at all, and smiled and said, if you miss this opportunity, you may never know the secrets of the stars again. Do you think we are idiots? The lamp god directly interrupted the words of the original hunger, and the golden rule chains turned into countless tentacles and smashed them. He would not give the mother tree of desire and the superstar overlord a chance to think. Taking the opportunity to confuse things is the most correct approach. The original hunger snorted coldly, and a tentacle stretched out from the ragged yellow-clothed feet to hold up the Hall of Stars. A pair of eyes overlooking everything appeared on the pale mask. He drew a starlight from the outer edge of the Hall of Stars, covering himself in the black stars, and drew a galaxy, dividing the starry sky into two sections. The attack of the lamp god was intercepted on the other side of the galaxy, unable to invade, let alone cause any damage to the original hunger. The mother tree of desire, the superstar overlord, the Decayed King, and the glorious hunter also attacked at the same time, and the huge momentum once again destroyed this already barren starry sky. But their attacks were all intercepted, as if the place where the original hunger was at the moment was separated from them by a universe. He is borrowing the power of the Hall of Stars. He has not completely mastered the Hall of Stars. The glorious hunter and the superstar overlord saw the state of the original hunger at the same time. He just delayed time in order to refine the Hall of Stars. Now that he has a part of the authority of the Hall of Stars, he can borrow the power of the Hall of Stars, just like the Hall of Stars, to cut off the attack from this universe. You're still the old ones, why are you still pretending to be so powerful in this state? The lamp god cursed disdainfully and continued to attack the galaxy that seemed to separate the two universes. Since he was in this universe, he must also be restricted by this universe, otherwise he would not be able to stay in this universe. The mother tree of desire and other outer gods of the old days naturally understood this and would not be frightened by the previous scene. This is the universe of the first creator, and the first creator is the master here. Once there is a force that exceeds the boundaries of this universe, it will inevitably stimulate the first creator's consciousness to awaken and directly restart the entire universe. The movement here soon attracted the outer gods of the old days, such as the fallen mother goddess, the high-dimensional overlooker, the ring of fate, and the unextinguished whisper. They only glanced at the scene of the melee in front of them, and decisively chose to temporarily join the camp of the mother tree of desire to target the original hunger together. The starry sky was collapsing and breaking apart in pieces, and the galaxy that was pulled from the Hall of Stars in front of the primordial hunger began to show signs of weakness and gradually showed a tendency to break. The pale mask on the face of the primordial hunger also began to crack, but he still held up the Hall of Stars and covered the black star below. Tisk. Why can't he learn from the high-dimensional overlooker and escape first? He has to stay here to the death. Is it for the face of the so-called old ones? Listening to the deliberately teasing words of the lamp god, the primordial hunger just sneered and said nothing. If he could escape, why would he chat with them so much nonsense? The still nurturing Black Devourer and Hastur in the Hall of Stars were all trying their best to distract his energy. He simply couldn't take away the Black Devourer and the Hall of Stars that were almost rooted in this starry sky. The chaos in the starry sky attracted the attention of many outer gods. But they just watched from afar. Those who were not in the two major camps of the fallen mother goddess and the stars had no intention of directly participating in this chaos. Seeing that the fallen mother goddess and other outer gods actually joined the son of chaos and the mother goddess of desire to target the primordial hunger, it triggered a discussion and speculation that affected the starry sky. The existence of the stars was truly resounding in the starry sky at this moment. In the past, the starry sky was a little dead, and there were not many outer gods who really understood the stars.
But this time, the starry sky was shining, and the fallen mother goddess and other outer gods competed for the stars' hall one after another, which made more and more outer gods pay attention to the stars. At the same time as the stars, the Old One Hastur, the ruler of the Old One, also became famous in the starry sky.
But soon, Hastur, who claimed to be the ruler of the Old One, fell in the siege of the fallen mother goddess and other outer gods.
Just before falling in the stars' hall, it was the glorious hunter who made the last attack.
Hasta, the Old One? That's the level? I thought you could really surpass the limit of this universe. What a disappointment. The lamp god was full of vigor, looking at the broken galaxy and the opponent who was blasted into nothingness, and he made an undisguised sarcasm. The original hunger had fallen in the fight just now, the ragged yellow clothes turned into ashes, the pale mask fell off, revealing the squirming flesh under the mask, and finally the whole body was completely broken, even putting it together was a luxury. Is it over? Something seems wrong. The superstar overlord looked at the scene in front of him in confusion, and asked the outer god Old One such as the Mother Tree of Desire to be on guard. It's really wrong. The Mother Tree of Desire also saw something unusual. It stands to reason that Hasta, the Old One who occupied the body of the original hunger, has fallen, and everything should be over. But in front of him, the fusion between the Hall of Stars and the Black Devourer did not stop but continued. Moreover, the Hall of Stars was stimulated, the starlight was shining, and it actively guided the power of the entire starry sky to protect this piece of starry sky, which was difficult to cross. The fallen mother goddess just watched, without any intention to continue to attack, nor did she take the opportunity to rob the Hall of Stars. It seemed more like she was waiting for something. Inside the Hall of Stars, Hastur was imprisoned in his seat. In front of him, an originally illusory figure gradually solidified, especially after the fall of the original hunger, the speed of the figure solidification instantly increased. This is the real Old One Hastur. The one who just fell was also Hastur, but only a part of Hastur. To be more precise, it was the original hunger that was influenced by the Old One Hastur, or tampered with some of its memories. He was only the king in yellow from beginning to end, not the real Hastur.
He was an incarnation controlled by Hastur, the Old One, the king in yellow. Until his fall, he thought he was the real Hastur and that he was controlling everything. Little did he know that he was the Yellow King, one of the incarnations of the Old One Hastur.
It was roughly equivalent to Amen creating an incarnation. The incarnation took over a body, and then the incarnation was modified with some memories, thinking that he was Amon's body. It was a bit confusing, but this was the truth of everything that had just happened.
Hastur sat in the Hall of Stars and watched everything that happened outside.
When he arrived in the starry sky and had not yet taken the potion, the starry sky began to echo, and the lord of the distant deep space sea of stars, the Nameless One, appeared in front of him with a vague shadow that could dissipate at any time, directly restrained him and imprisoned him in his seat. This vague figure came out of the golden box. When Hastur left the real world, he once considered whether to take this golden box that might be related to the Yellow King. If he stayed with him, in case of an accident, he could open the golden box and there might be a glimmer of hope. But there is also a possibility that the so-called accident started when he opened the golden box.
Finally, Hastur chose to leave the golden box in Backland's yellow church.
Because once he went to the starry sky to try to advance to sequence 2 star attendant, he would have a chance to survive only by hiding in the Hall of Stars.
Bringing the golden box into the Hall of Stars. Such a decision was undoubtedly seeking death. But when he came to the starry sky, and the entire starry sky and the Hall of Stars echoed each other, the golden box that was originally left in Backland's yellow church, as always, also came to the starry sky silently, and entered the Hall of Stars, opened itself, and let Hastur, the real Nameless One, the Lord of the Deep Space Star Sea, appear as a phantom. This was a disaster that he could not avoid anyway. As long as he set foot in the starry sky, no matter where he threw the golden box, it would follow him to the starry sky and come to his side. Haha, a gift from the starry sky. This gift was too heavy for him to refuse, and there was no way to refuse it. During the time he was imprisoned in his seat, Hastur was guessing the reason for all this.
The golden box fell with his birth. It had a strong destiny bond with him. In addition, his name was also Hastur. The coincidence of these two factors became the key to replacing himself and inheriting the Hall of Stars in the power of Hastur, the true Old One. He guessed that the Hall of Stars might have been the property of the Old One Hastur at the beginning, but when crossing the boundary of the universe, the Hall of Stars was incompatible with this universe and was driven into the original barrier by the power of the first creator, while the Old One Hastur was isolated outside the original barrier. As for himself, he might be a soul that the Old One Hastur accidentally involved when crossing the boundary of the universe. Because he was too small and harmless, he followed the Hall of Stars to cross the original barrier and became the new owner of the Hall of Stars. This was the most likely guess, he thought. After all, he clearly remembered that his last life was very ordinary and there was nothing special about it. Like Russell and Klein, before they became the dried bacon on Saphira Castle, they also came into contact with mysterious items related to the Lord of Mysteries, but he did not come into contact with items related to the stars. He was born ordinary, but because of a huge coincidence, he became the protagonist of the Traverser in the story. Now, the Hall of Stars is returning to the hands of the Old One Hastur, and he can only end up falling. Will the story continue like this? Hastur asked himself several times, and thought about other possibilities again, trying to connect all the scattered clues and deduce the real truth. He thought of the Black Devourer again. What role does he play in this story? Why does the Old One Hastur want to control the Hall of Stars and need to own both the Hall of Stars and the Black Star Black Devourer? Could it be that the Black Devourer is part of the Hall of Stars? Is the Hall of Stars crossing the boundaries of the universe and giving birth to self-consciousness due to a series of incomprehensible coincidences? Is the Hall of Stars like the magic weapon that gives birth to consciousness in the immortal novels? In this case, it can correspond to the image of the Black Devourer as a child who has just become ignorant, and it can also explain his attachment and affection for the stars. Hastur thought about this line of thought for a long time and felt that something was wrong. If the Black Devourer is really part of the Hall of Stars, why did the Yellow King, the Primordial Hunger and one of Hastur's clones, recommend the Black Devourer to the Hall of Stars? Isn't he afraid of something going wrong? Something is wrong. If the Black Devourer is really part of the Hall of Stars, when he was first led to the Hall of Stars by me, he already had the ability to take the Hall of Stars away, right? After all, he is part of the Hall of Stars, and I am just a pendant. It is impossible that I still have control over the Hall of Stars, and the Black Devourer can only passively wait for my call. Unless the Black Devourer has no connection with the Hall of Stars at all, his attachment and affection are all pretended, or there are other secrets that I don't know. But it shouldn't be a part of the Hall of Stars. If this is the case, why did the Old One Hastur refine the Hall of Stars and the Black Devourer? Thinking of this, Hastur glanced at the Old One Hastur, who had already solidified most of his body. Since he arrived at the Hall of Stars, he has not made any other moves or said a word except imprisoning himself. It seems that he is disdainful of talking to him. The more I look at it, the more suspicious it seems. In the Hall of Stars, Hastur was deprived of control of the Hall of Stars and was imprisoned in his seat and unable to leave. Apart from this, he was not restricted in other aspects. Hastur also tried to break free from this imprisonment, but it was in vain. After the attempt failed, he began to carefully observe the Old One Hastur, and saw that he was still concentrating on solidifying his body. Why didn't he kill me directly, but imprisoned me in the seat? Is he unable to do it, or does he not want to kill me? Why is it a bit like the drama between Klein and Amon? Hastur silently complained in his heart. If this is really the plot, it would be good. After all, the winner in the end is Klein. Time passed gradually, and Hastur looked beyond the starry sky. He saw a series of familiar outer gods, such as the fallen Mother Goddess, the Mother Tree of Desire, and the Lamp God. At this moment, they are just guarding the periphery, without any other extra actions. Even the Lamp God is very quiet. Are they waiting for a result? Hastur took the opportunity to look at the Ring of Fate again. This being who controls fate will be Will's rival in the future. Thinking of Will's fate, Hastur's mood improved a lot. Will, who holds the Key of Light, should be able to protect Sharon and Audrey. The path of fate is really an enviable European road. He was promoted to sequence 0 and obtained the corresponding source in one day. Such luck is really too enviable. No wonder the clone of the mother tree of desire was driven crazy. Hastur quickly retracted his gaze and looked at Hastur, the old one who had completely solidified his body. He did not speak, but waited for the other party to make a move first. Is it time to give my name back to me? This was the first sentence that Hastur, the old one, said. I don't understand what you are saying, Hastur pouted. He would not say anything like, yes, casually, so as not to let the other party take advantage of the authority he did not understand and completely cut off his life. Asta, this name originally belongs to me. You're just a lucky substitute. While he was speaking, he walked around and observed everything in the Hall of Stars. Everything here is the same as before. Your name? Asta's mouth showed a hint of sneer. Do you have your own name, Asta? Did you choose this name yourself? This name is just a code name given to you by the world to call you. You can call it Asta, or you can call it Amawagu, or a simple and easy to remember name like Area Titan Wonkai. That makes sense. He came to sit down opposite Asta and smiled. Since you like the name Asta, then this name is given to you. At this moment, Asta suddenly felt a chill all over his body, as if something unknown would happen after he agreed. Hastur was named by the parents of this body, just as you are called Hastur by the world. You call yourself this body, it seems that you know very well that you are a thief who survived by replacing the fate of others. Thief? In front of you. I dare not call myself a thief. You are a master of theft. Even the outer gods such as the primal hunger have been fooled by you. I didn't kill him. The ones who killed him were the group of spectators who just attacked him. It is true. Primal hunger only had his memory modified, so he mistakenly thought that he was the king in yellow, the old one Hastur. His experience well reflects the horror of dominance. Hastur sighed in his heart, and did not respond to Hastur's words, but said, You have completely entered the Hall of Stars and controlled the situation. Why don't you kill me and then leave with the Hall of Stars? I also have no intention of killing you. He looked up at the starry sky in the Hall of Stars and whispered, After all, we are the only ones from the same universe. An existence like you will also care about this kind of human emotion. I like walking on the streets of the human world. They are so weak, but they have the most complex inner world. Sometimes I envy their short life. Don't be hypocritical here. Hastur sneered. All your observations and experiences are from a different level of life. When humans look down at the ants busying around, they sometimes find it interesting, and even fantasize about becoming an ant to experience the world again. It may be interesting for a while, but it won't be interesting for a lifetime. After a long time, they still want to return to their human form and distance themselves from tiny creatures like ants. Faced with such ridicule, he did not feel angry, but spoke gently. That's why I say that you humans have the most complex inner world. Asta did not answer this question again, he just wanted to see what this Hastur wanted to do. Your previous guess was correct. You are indeed a tiny soul that was accidentally involved. Fate likes jokes, life likes miracles, and your birth perfectly proves these 2 points. This is something that neither I nor the original creator expected. It is a little variable beyond my control. So I dropped a golden box from the air, trying to get the story on track, but you have been on guard and never opened it. Until you reach the starry sky, you can completely activate the backup plan I left behind and come in to modify this fate that has deviated from the correct direction. Asta was just silent, carefully pondering every word of the old one. Now, let's end it all. He stood up, surrounded by starlight. Time and space were disordered at this moment, and fate was reversed at this moment. Asta was suppressed in his position, and he couldn't even blink his eyelids. End this unexpected fate and return my name and fate. He shouted in a low voice, and Asta instantly felt that he was stripped out of the starry sky, surrounded by only endless darkness and coldness. The distance between him and this starry sky was getting farther and farther, and he became smaller and smaller, as if the timeline was reversed, and he returned to the state of a wisp of soul when he crossed the boundary of the universe. Is everything over like this? Asta was silent, silently feeling this almost suffocating sense of powerlessness. I am just a soul that was lucky enough to be involved in it. I can regain the identity of Hastur, meet Sharon and Audrey, and spend a happy time. I should be content, right? I believe that with the care of Will and Klein, they will all live well. Now I just hope that the Hall of Stars has lost the ability to pass through the initial barrier and keep the old one outside the initial barrier. This feeling of suffocation and despair continued until Hastur thought of a question. He raised his head and looked up at this dark, dead and cold world. In your words just now, why did you only mention yourself and the original creator? You don't seem to have directly acknowledged the existence of the stars? What are you hiding? Or are you worried about something? Hastur's unhurried voice echoed in this dark and deserted world. The Hall of Stars belongs to the stars, this is an indisputable fact. If the Old One Hastur is really the original owner of the Hall of Stars, then he is the stars themselves. However, in the series of words he just said, he did not mention a word about the stars. He did not explicitly say that he was the stars themselves. And where was his true body? What appeared in the Hall of Stars was just a wisp of consciousness stored in the golden box, and the original hunger was just his incarnation of the Yellow King. So what about himself? Where was his true body? At such a great moment of welcoming back the Hall of Stars, shouldn't his true body appear? There were too many flaws that were hard to figure out and explain. Just after Hastur asked this series of questions, stars lit up one after another in this dark world, first one by one, then in groups, together outlining a brilliant starry sky. After another distraction, Hastur returned to the Hall of Stars and still sat in the same position. It turned out that he had never left the Hall of Stars. He was here, in this Hall of Stars. Hastur looked at Hastur, the Old One who was still sitting opposite him. His expression suddenly became complicated, but finally calmed down. I think I can answer your original question now. Don't you want to get the name Hastur back? It's a very simple thing. Because. Hastur paused for a moment. Asta is you, and the stars are me. Hastur is you, the stars are me. Just such a simple word made the entire palace of stars begin to tremble, and the entire starry sky was illuminated at the same time. Every visible or invisible star responded to the call of the stars at this moment, and the power belonging to the stars began to return. Hastur was finally freed from his imprisonment and regained control of the Hall of Stars. Now he is the master of the Hall of Stars, and Hastur, the great Old One, is just an unkind visitor. When the owner does not want to see him, he has the ability to drive him out at any time and close the door again. From the moment he entered the house, the visitor used various means to trick the owner into selling the house to him. No, it should be said that it was given to him. But in order to successfully defraud the house, he also needed the personal consent of the owner of the house. Unfortunately, at the last moment, the owner of the house reacted and rejected this unilateral and unequal transaction. This story probably happened just now. Asta reviewed what just happened in his mind. What is the reason that makes me always think that I am just a temporary occupant of the Palace of Stars, rather than the real owner? It's probably because of the name Hastur. Looking back at what happened in the past, we can conclude that it was not him who wanted this name, but Hastur, the Great Old One, who gave him this name specifically. During this period, he also influenced the group of monks in yellow and brought them into contact with Voltaire Campbell, and successfully got Voltaire Campbell to name his son Hasta Campbell. This also involves a question. He was born after Voltaire Campbell named his child. How did Hastur, the Old One ruler, judge that he would definitely replace Hasta Campbell? The sequence here is reversed. There is a possibility that may answer this question. After he was born into the real world, Hastur, the Old One ruler, briefly returned to the past with his own authority and intervened in Voltaire Campbell's life. In other words, no matter who he replaced when he was born, he could go back in time and associate himself with the name Hastur. In other words, his possible names include Hastur Smith, Hastur Wilson, Hastur William, and other names related to Hastur. As long as his destiny is connected with the name Hastur, he will doubt his identity and origin, and a seed has been successfully planted. Then he could wait quietly for the harvest day. He succeeded in making himself believe that he was just a substitute, an outsider, a thief, not the real owner of the Hall of Stars. As for whether there are other secrets, it depends on whether Hastur, the ruler of the old days, is willing to answer them for himself. Can we have a good talk now?
Hastur's eyes looked at Hastur, the old ruler who was sitting opposite, and looked uncertain.
Do you think you have won, Hastur, the ruler of the old days, said with a hint of sarcasm in his tone. When the stars return to their alignment, there is no such thing as that simple. What exactly do you want to say? Asta had a bad feeling in his heart. I have entered the Palace of Stars and gained control over part of the Palace of Stars during the period just now. Although I have very little control, it is enough. After speaking, Hastur, the ruler of the old days, stood up and said in a relaxed tone, "It's not that simple if you want to find out the secrets about the stars from my mouth. Of course, I can be kind to you once in a while. If you can survive, then I may answer a few questions for you next time we meet." Before Hastur could say anything, the body of Hastur, the ruler of the old days, gradually faded from a solid state, and finally returned to nothingness. In the process, Hastur was once again imprisoned in his seat, and he clearly felt that he had briefly lost control of the Hall of Stars. When the figure of Hastur, the ruler of the old days, disappeared from the Hall of Stars, he was also forced to leave the Hall of Stars and appeared in the fallen Mother Goddess, the Ring of Fate, the Mother Tree of Desire, the Sun of Chaos, etc. in the eyes of the sun. At this moment, the power of the Hall of Stars could no longer protect him. He immediately tried to use his ability to return to his original position to return to the Hall of Stars, but the Hall of Stars seemed to be cast under a silence spell and could not be opened or respond to his call. Hastur, the Great Old One, put himself in this extremely dangerous situation at the expense of his own incarnation. But one thing is certain, the disconnection from the Hall of Stars is only temporary. As long as you delay for a little time, you can return to the Hall of Stars again. Hastur thought a lot at this moment. He tried his best to stay calm and looked at the fallen Mother Goddess with a smile on his face. "Are you surprised to see me appear?" The fallen Mother Goddess glanced at Hastur and completely imprisoned him. At the same time, a dark and lightless abyss of depravity opened up behind Hastur, allowing him to be completely immersed in it. Eternal darkness, no thoughts, prevented him from even raising a thought, let alone the idea of returning to the Palace of Stars. After doing all this, the mocking voice of the fallen Mother Goddess came in. "It's really surprising. I didn't expect you to leave the Hall of Stars and walk out of the Hall of Stars on your own. This is the starry sky. As one of the three pillars, I can easily see through you who have lost the protection of the Palace of Stars. If you want to bluff, you will think that I am too stupid and incompetent. That old one, Hastur, did a good thing before he left." Hastur only felt that the fallen Mother Goddess was right to complain. He really thought that the fallen Mother Goddess was too incompetent and stupid, and thus ignored that no matter what, she was a top old one and one of the three pillars. "I saw a lot of interesting pictures in your mind, from a place outside the universe, a world in a book, absurd but full of horror. Russell, is this your original name? A wisp of soul was lucky enough to be involved in the competition for the Hall of Stars and became the new master of the Hall of Stars. Your fate is enough to make anyone with any destiny envy and jealous." The fallen Mother Goddess slowly told Hastur all the secrets hidden deep in her heart, as if she was deliberately taking revenge on him. "Don't struggle hard. You who have lost the protection of the Hall of Stars are weaker than an ant in my eyes. Stars, the high stars, a great joke." The fallen Mother Goddess mocked mercilessly. Hastur, who had no thoughts or ideas, stood motionless in the fallen abyss like a body without a soul. In the starry sky, the fallen Mother Goddess was besieged by the old ones from the outer gods the moment she intercepted Hastur. But while he intercepted Hastur, he tried to take away the Hall of Stars and the Black Devourer. These two are the key to controlling the Hall of Stars, which he had just read from Hastur's mind. The Old One briefly controlled the Hall of Stars in this way. Now that Hastur is not in the Hall of Stars, it is the best opportunity to seize the Hall of Stars. But he seemed to have forgotten that greed is often the beginning of failure. In the melee, the Black Devourer, who had been motionless, suddenly woke up. He had just woken up and tore the fallen abyss of the fallen Mother Goddess apart, like a beam of light shining in, allowing Hastur inside to be free for a moment. "Return to your position." Asta thought and wanted to return to the Hall of Stars. The power of the stars reflected the shadow of the fallen Mother Goddess behind him and expelled and purified him.
It was like a firewall, easily purifying the virus that wanted to invade the computer terminal. Asta was able to return to the Hall of Stars safely and sit in the position that should have belonged to him. Except that it was a bit disgusting that the fallen mother goddess had spied on his past memories. Other aspects could only be said to be safe. In fact, even if the Black Devourer did not make a move in the end, he could safely leave the fallen abyss of the fallen mother goddess and return to the Hall of Stars.
It only needs to wait until the power of the old ruler Asta subsides and the Hall of Stars regains its freedom. Even in the deepest part of the fallen abyss of the fallen mother goddess, the stars return to their positions, which is still unstoppable. Not to mention, he still has several consciousness clones left in the real world, specifically to prevent various accidents that occur after the main body ascends to the starry sky. Even if his original body was trapped in the hands of the fallen mother goddess, his consciousness clone could still return to the Hall of Stars after being freed in the Hall of Stars, and then use the power of the Hall of Stars to make his original body return. If he wanted to completely destroy him, he had to seize the Hall of Stars first. This was also the strategy adopted by Hastur, the Old One. He obviously knew more about the Hall of Stars than the fallen mother goddess and other outer gods. The only thing that he still couldn't figure out was the Black Devourer. What exactly was he?
Could he really be the consciousness that was awakening and brewing in the Hall of Stars?
Once he was fully conceived, would the Hall of Stars change its owner directly? Hastur pondered for a moment, then drove the Hall of Stars away to the depths of the starry sky and disappeared. The stars in the starry sky were like fish in the water, free and unfettered. He only needed a thought to make the Hall of Stars reach any star in the starry sky. The starry sky was a sea belonging to the stars. Tisk, why don't you continue to grab it? The genie looked at the empty starry sky in front of him and couldn't help but laugh sarcastically. When the Palace of Stars escaped just now, the Black Devourer also disappeared without a trace, leaving only a group of outer gods in the past who had gained nothing. For such a result, the Jinn god happily accepted it. Anyway, he had never thought about competing for the Palace of Stars. Firstly, it was because of the contract with the stars. Secondly, he was already attracting hatred. Well, he was attracted by a bunch of foreign gods. Days of envy and jealousy. If he is too active and goes deep into the fight for the Palace of Stars, there will definitely be outer gods who want to take advantage of the opportunity to deal with him. Fallen Mother Goddess, do you want to express your feelings about what you have gained and lost at this moment? Seeing that the black mist surrounding the fallen Mother Goddess was still rolling violently, the Deng god directly taunted her face. The fallen Mother Goddess ignored the Jinn god's provocation, remained silent for a while, and left here. Some outer gods such as the Ring of Fate and the Everlasting Whisper also left one after another. In the end, only the Mother Tree of Desire, the Superstar Lord, the Declined King and the Jinn had not yet started to leave. You have good luck in gambling this time. The Mother Tree of Desire rarely gave the Jinn a good evaluation. Oh, you could have made a big gamble, but it's a pity that you don't have the courage. The genie's tone was arrogant, and his words were full of contempt. At least we are not standing on the opposite side of the stars. The Mother Tree of Desire also accepted the ending at this moment. Existences from outside this universe. When the stars truly shine in the sky, the original creator will really return. The Superstar Master seemed to have seen the not-too-distant future. It is rare for the Jinn to remain silent. In the beginning, the creator was the creator of this universe. Once he wakes up from his slumber, they, the so-called outer gods, will not be able to escape the fate of their demise. Oh, isn't there the fallen Mother Goddess, God, and that bastard guy? They will only be more anxious than us. After finishing speaking, the Jinn left the starry sky. He had not returned to the starry sky for a long time and still had many things to do. Did you see anything just now? You mean the Black Devourer? He's too suspicious. The stars should have the same doubts as us, otherwise he would just take away the Black Devourer. There are still so many secrets hidden in this universe, let alone outside this universe. After a few simple exchanges, the Mother Tree of Desire, the Superstar Master, and the Declined King also left. It's time for you to go back. The little snake of destiny raised by the stars has been promoted to Sequence 0. At the same time, It also holds the source of the key of light. He is now waiting for you in your kingdom of God. With him, Adam, in reality the threat from the Creator is no longer that great.
In a desolate starry sky not far from the initial barrier, the genie stopped walking across the starry sky. The atmosphere of chaos around him unconsciously eroded everything around him.
Thank you for your protection on this trip. The god of knowledge and wisdom came out of the wishing lantern, faced the lantern and spoke respectfully.
Just when he had a premonition that he might not be able to escape the palm of the ancient sun god, the stars descended. He said he could guide a way to avoid the ancient sun god and survive.
That is to go to the starry sky, which is the forbidden area of the ancient sun god. In the end, he followed the guidance of the stars and followed them to the starry sky. Ever since he left the initial barrier and reached the starry sky, the moment the lamp god escaped from the trap, he has been staying in the wishing lamp. Because the stars never let him enter the palace of stars from beginning to end. There is a strong aura of the jinn in the wishing lantern. He is very safe hiding inside, and his hiding place has not been discovered by the outside gods in the past. Finally, he is hiding safely now. Thank the stars, he is the one you should truly believe in. The jinn doesn't care about the god of knowledge and wisdom's gratitude, which is not valuable at all. I hope the stars are still missing a god. Harribergen knew his position very well. Especially after hiding in the wishing lamp and personally witnessing the terror of the starry sky and the greatness of the stars, he knew how he should take the next step.
Your wisdom is indeed good, no wonder you can live forever.
The jinn gave a rare compliment and then disappeared. After he left, Harribergen also passed through the initial barrier and returned to the real world. Even if he took a trip to the starry sky, he would not be blocked by the initial barrier. When Harribergen successfully passed through the initial barrier, he was shocked to find that he had not returned to his own kingdom of God, but appeared on the black holy mountain of the true Creator. Adam and the true Creator are waiting for him here. Harribergen's expression suddenly changed, but soon he calmed down again, glanced at Adam and said, "As expected of you, your methods are indeed powerful." Adam didn't waste time to speak. He asked the true Creator to control the black holy mountain to suppress Harribergen, and he took it upon himself to deal with Harribergen as quickly as possible and regain the authority that belonged to him. Facing Adam, who had already taken back the power of the Lord of Storms and the eternal blazing sun, Harribergen was clearly no match and could only struggle to support him.
When he was about to be unable to hold on, a huge translucent wheel of fate appeared behind him. The gears of fate began to turn, breaking away from the shackles of the black holy mountain, allowing Harribergen to escape from the shackles. Just when Harribergen was about to leave under the guidance of the Wheel of Fortune, a black curtain covering the sky and the black holy mountain together covered everything inside and blocked the power of fate. There are other hidden beings cooperating with Adam and the true Creator. Could it be the goddess of night? No, it doesn't look like her. This power is more inclined to the evil side. Harribergen thought of many possibilities in his mind at once, and finally he was shocked and said, "Adam, you actually cooperated with the outer gods in the starry sky. The stars can drive the outer gods in the starry sky, why can't I cooperate with them? You are too paranoid. I just don't care about the distinction between good and evil. Don't the group of outer gods in the Hall of Stars also covet this world? You are too crazy. Crazy is the background color of this world."
The moment Harribergen was distracted, he was hit by a black cross and fell heavily from the sky to the sea. "Your authority should return," Adam said expressionlessly and began to seize Harribergen's authority. At this moment, the blazing light broke through the black curtain covering the top of the black holy mountain, and the stars shone in the starry sky again.
The black curtain was pierced, and the black holy mountain could no longer imprison Harribergen.
He looked up at the bright starry sky and whispered sincerely, "May the light of the stars shine forever in the starry sky." When he offered his faith to the stars, he disappeared directly from the black holy mountain, and in a flash, the god had returned to his kingdom of God. What appeared in front of him was no longer Adam and the real Creator, but the new god, Sequence 0 Wheel of Destiny Will. At this moment, Will's eyes were looking at the particularly bright starry sky. This time the starry sky was different from before. Although it was still bright, there was no suffocation from the pressure of the entire starry sky, and there was no shaking of the initial barrier cracks.
It was the stars that made the light of the entire starry sky softer.
Will looked at it for a while and then retracted his gaze. He was in a good mood now, and he didn't need Harribergen to convey it. He already knew that the stars were safe. If the stars hadn't taken action just now, then if he wanted to rescue the god of knowledge and wisdom, he would need to go there in person, which would bring risks to himself. The key of light is a very hot source, and even the mother tree of desire was stimulated to lose its mind. Who knows how many clones of the outer gods are hiding behind the shadow curtain on the black holy mountain of the true creator.
They are like hungry beasts, and they will not easily watch me snatch a delicious steak from their mouths. Your fate is really lucky. Harribergen showed a little envy in his eyes.
Outside the starry sky, through the wishing lamp, following the perspective of the son of chaos, he clearly saw how Will went from the original sequence 1 to the old one who mastered a source. This is a unique miracle. The right fate will inevitably bring the most correct result. Will wanted to be modest, but the smile at the corner of his mouth was so obvious. If it were me, I would be happier and more proud than you, and I would want to let all beings know about this unique miracle, and then enjoy the envious and jealous eyes they cast on me.
You are very good at talking. Will was very satisfied with what Harribergen said, so he stopped hiding it and smiled. I really want to know what happened after the stars arrived in the starry sky.
Harribergen smiled and said, I am happy to share this unforgettable journey. Outside the crack of the initial barrier, it belongs to the kingdom of the god of knowledge and wisdom. Harribergen slowly recounted what he saw and heard during his journey to the starry sky. He did not need to add or modify anything, nor did he need to organize the words deliberately. He only needed to tell what happened in full, which was enough to be exciting and unforgettable.
What a thrilling journey! Will was amazed. Just through such a simple description, he clearly felt the horror of the starry sky and how dangerous the dangers encountered by the stars were.
Fortunately, the final outcome was that the stars still shone, and there was no terrible crisis in this starry sky.
At present, there is only one thing to pay attention to.
During the period when the stars ascended to the starry sky, the initial barrier suffered a great impact, and some of the cracks in the initial barrier had expanded. I wonder if some of the outer gods will take the opportunity to infiltrate their power into the real world.
Like the outer gods in the Hall of Stars, did they also send incarnations to sneak into the real world? Today, there appeared an existence who knew the path of destiny very well on the side of Adam and the true Creator. It is estimated that he was attracted by the source of the key of light, and he helped Adam and the others just to deal with him. Speaking of which, his current situation is more dangerous than that of the God of knowledge and wisdom. Since you have returned, this kingdom of God should also be returned to its owner. Will had no intention of staying here. He wanted to find a secret place to shield his own destiny to avoid possible dangers. Once he completely accommodated the key of light, there would be no gods in the entire real world that could threaten him, except for the stars. May the long river of destiny always accompany the stars. Harribergen sent his blessings. May your destiny never be bumpy again. Will also smiled and blessed, and then left the kingdom of the god of knowledge and wisdom, disappeared, and could no longer sense his breath and the fluctuations of destiny. Lucky man favored by the stars and destiny. Harribergen sighed, and then closed his kingdom of God. In the east of the kingdom of the god of knowledge and wisdom, the god of steam and machinery wanted to come over and sit down, sensing that Harribergen had returned from the starry sky, and by the way asked about what happened in the starry sky recently. Seeing that Harribergen decisively blocked the gate of his kingdom of God, he gave up the idea. His eyes swept over the Republic of Intis, a country that had fallen into chaos and madness after the fall of the Eternal Sun. Now there was a descendant of the Gustav family who claimed to be blessed by his ancestors. Well, this is Rissel's new trumpet. Even though the Gustav family has not ruled the Republic of Intis for as long as the Solon family, the name of the Gustav family has an extraordinary influence in the Republic of Intis. Many aspiring young people in the Republic of Intis gathered under the banner of the descendants of the Gustav family. Now they are constantly pacifying wars, ending the chaotic autonomy in various places, and trying to unite the scattered Republic of Intis again. Rissel, you still need me to help you this time. The god of steam and machinery has heard the sound of Roussel coming to his church below and trying to talk to him. The reason why Roussel and Zeratwell were able to overthrow the kingdom of Intis ruled by the Sorin family was because he and the Church of Steam supported them.
Now, with the situation of the Republic of Intis, if they want to end the chaos as soon as possible, they must let the Church of Steam and Machinery come forward to publicly support it. Trier, the ruined capital of the Republic of Intis, was mostly destroyed. The only remaining area was because of the protection of the Church of Steam and Machinery.
It was the god of steam and machinery who took action to protect the lives in this area.
Today, the young man who claimed to be a descendant of the Gustav family had shiny blonde hair, thick hair, handsome appearance, free and casual clothes, and unrestrained and uninhibited behavior, which was very similar to his ancestor Roussel. The only drawback was that he was too young and did not have the two beautifully groomed mustaches of his ancestor. The archbishop of the church came out to entertain him personally, and then he prayed devoutly to the emblem of the god of steam and machinery. Soon, he received an oracle from the gods, dismissed everyone, and allowed the young descendant of the Gustav family to communicate with the gods alone. Even he felt a little envious and jealous in his heart, because the gods always treated the members of the Gustav family with special favor and kindness. There was no one else present, so Roussel didn't pretend anymore, and directly pulled a bench and sat in front of the emblem of the god of steam and machinery, facing him.
Hey, if I didn't come, I'm afraid you would have stayed in the kingdom of God forever, right?
The emblem exuded a slight metallic luster, and then a gentle voice came from the emblem.
If I take the initiative to see you, you will definitely not see me, but will deliberately ridicule me.
Roussel, whose inner thoughts were exposed, looked slightly depressed. Hey, this is just your excuse. What are you doing here today? I just came to see if you are dead or not. I am still alive, and now that you have the answer, shouldn't you leave?
You know why I came, just give me a straight answer. You are nagging like a woman. I can't guess what you are thinking, so how can I know why you came? The god of steam and machinery still spoke in a calm tone. If he got angry because of Roussel's provocation, it would only make Roussel feel more proud of his behavior and then attract more abuse. Do you need to be so pretentious in front of me? Roussel's face turned colder. Things should be explained one by one before continuing the conversation to avoid any misunderstandings.
Let the Steam Church publicly support the rebels. A sentence came from the divine emblem. What identity are you in to communicate with me?
Roger Gustav, descendant of the Gustav family and future governor of the Intis Republic, how about this identity?
Okay, but you are not qualified to communicate with me alone with this identity alone. The Archbishop here will cooperate with you. After speaking, the light of the divine emblem dimmed. Roussel's mouth twitched slightly, and he wanted to smash the divine emblem in front of him, and even smash the entire steam. If his beloved daughter had not thought of inheriting the Intis family business, his eldest son had died early, and his second son had become an angel of the Steam Church, would he, as an old father, need to come out of retirement to fight for his country again? After a while, he left here and obtained the support of the Steam Church as Roger Gustav. People of Intis, your emperor is back. Late at night, in the southern continent, under the protection of the wings of the phoenix ancestor Grey Carey, the sleeping Audrey and Sharon entered a dream of a brilliant starry sky. In the dream, Hastur slowly came from the starry sky accompanied by the light of the stars. You, Audrey and Sharon could not tell for a moment whether this was a dream they had or Hastur was looking for them in a dream. Don't worry, this is me communicating with you through dreams outside the starry sky. Hastur smiled and stroked Audrey's cheek. I still need to stay in the starry sky for the time being, and I can only meet you in this way for a short time. Well, you are in the starry sky, everything must be cautious. You are my eternal concern for this starry sky. In Sharon's dream on the other side, Hastur was saying the same words to Sharon in his arms. After a few simple exchanges, Hastur left Sharon and Audrey's dreams and returned to the starry sky. Sharon and Audrey woke up at the same time. The two of them got up and went to each other's room in tacit understanding, and then met in the corridor. Both of them smiled at the same time. It seems that we all have a good dream tonight. Susie and Azishara, who followed closely, stood behind Audrey and Sharon respectively. Looking at the two people who did not sleep late at night, and looked at each other quietly, showing curious and puzzled expressions. Since he could enter the first time, he can naturally enter the second time now. Hasta sat in the Hall of Stars, slowly looking at the initial barrier that protects the real world. After he escaped from danger and left the sight of the outer gods with the Hall of Stars, he began to try to contact Sharon and Audrey in the real world, explaining his situation to them so that they would not worry too much. Originally thought it was a simple matter, but unexpectedly, the initial barrier actually blocked him and the Hall of Stars from the real world, preventing them from descending directly. Now, he, like the fallen Mother Goddess and other outer gods, was also isolated outside the initial barrier. To be precise, he has been identified as an enemy by the initial barrier, so he cannot freely cross the initial barrier and enter the real world. Well, it is indeed difficult to cross the initial barrier through normal channels, otherwise those outer gods would not have been isolated outside the initial barrier for so many years. But the Star Hall has the ability to cross the initial barrier. For example, his incarnation can still freely cross the initial barrier with the authority of the Star Hall. It's just that the power of the Star Hall is much less than when it just crossed the universe boundary. It may also be under his influence. It's roughly equivalent to a full-level Xuanyuan sword that can be used to single-handedly kill the boss, but because of the owner, it is forced to downgrade and cannot deal with the boss. Is this a negative buff from the owner? Hasta thought for a while, then put it aside temporarily and began to prepare for the promotion to Sequence 2 Star Servant. He has met the promotion conditions and is now out of danger. He can be promoted in this starry sky. As for the potion, Hasta had already configured it before leaving the initial barrier, and even the potion of Sequence 1 Star Singer has been configured. After calming down, Hasta took the potion in the Hall of Stars. The promotion process was much smoother than Hasta expected. Perhaps the Hall of Stars helped him shield some adverse effects, and he was promoted successfully soon. Star Servant, this is an extraordinary sequence specially prepared for the Star Path. When he was promoted to Sequence 2 Star Servant, the Star Servant potion in his body was completely digested before he could fully appreciate the extraordinary ability of this sequence. Alas, it's boring. Hasta quickly finished the promotion. As for continuing to promote to Sequence 1, the promotion ceremony it requires is: you need to awaken 3 dead stars. The Night Emperor is Sequence 0. His status should be able to support a star, right? As for God, is he a dead star? I always feel that he has been very active in the body of the ancient sun god. It should be that he does not meet the requirements of the promotion ceremony. Hasta looked at the starry sky of the Hall of Stars in front of him, thinking about the promotion ceremony required for the promotion to Sequence 1. Perhaps the promotion ceremony requires him to awaken the old outer gods who have fallen in the starry sky. But isn't this condition too harsh? This is just a promotion to Sequence 1. Sequence 0, like the Night Emperor, should also be able to meet the requirements, otherwise it would be terrible. Originally, it should be a happy thing to be promoted to Sequence 2, but when I think of Will's promotion to Sequence 0 in mastering the key of Source Light, my little achievement is not worth being happy about at all. Forget it, compared with Will, even the outer gods of the old ones would be jealous and crazy to commit suicide. Hasta quickly calmed down and began to comprehend and summarize the extraordinary things that his promotion to Sequence 2 Star Servant has. 3 active skills and 2 passive skills. Passive abilities are Star Guardian and Star Color. Star Guardian. Under the starry sky, you will be protected by the Hall of Stars. The lucky ones who have the protection of the stars will be immune to most of the damage. Star Color. The light of the stars is colorful and is a rainbow light that transcends fate. Those who are blessed by this will not be bound by fate, like a waterfall turning into a rainbow, which is a symbol of luck and holiness. Active abilities are Star Glory, Falling Star Fury, and Star Art. Radiance of the Stars. You can borrow power from the stars in the sky to greatly enhance your abilities without any hidden dangers. Rage of the Meteor. You can summon stars from outer space to turn into meteorites. The first 2 active abilities can cooperate with each other, with the Radiance of the Stars ability increasing the power, and then the Rage of the Meteor.
Finally, the astrology. This extraordinary ability is a bit special and a bit difficult to describe.
Hasta also thought about it for a long time before naming this ability astrology. The sky is a chessboard and the stars are the pieces. This sentence is the best explanation of this ability, and it is also the basis for Hasta to name it this way. If you have to explain it, this extraordinary ability is more inclined to authority. It can mainly target the stars that are lit up by the Hall of Stars. For example, the Mother Tree of Desire, the Son of Chaos, and the Superstar Overlord, these outer gods who came to the Hall of Stars to participate in the Star Conference. They represent the stars one by one. The deeper their fate is connected with the Hall of Stars, the more they will be affected and dominated by the astrology. Like Adam and the True Creator, who are listed in the Hall of Stars, they will also be affected by the Yixingshu, but the domination effect is not as strong. Hasta himself is a little unsure about this last ability. He needs a suitable object to gradually familiarize himself with this ability. Who should I choose? The fallen Mother Goddess is a good object, but it's a pity that she hasn't made any big moves recently. She is hiding in the dark and brewing something. We have to take advantage of her distraction to catch her off guard. Hasta thought of the Ring of Fate again. This outer god also registered in the starry sky of the Hall of Stars in the past. Now he is actively invading the real world and wants to seize the key of light in Will's hand. Hasta thought for a while and decided to choose the Ring of Fate as the test subject. In the deep space of the boundless universe, outside an extremely hideous and ugly initial barrier crack, a ring of light divides a long river of destiny. The Ring of Fate is now infiltrating its power into the initial barrier crack in front of it bit by bit. Beside her, there is also the fallen Mother Goddess to help her better invade the real world. The appearance of the Key of Light made all the outer gods who witnessed that scene envious, among whom the two outer gods related to fate, the Ring of Fate and the Weaver of Fate, were the most eager. The Ring of Fate was busy helping the fallen Mother Goddess deal with the stars some time ago. It was not until now that he was able to take the time to use the crack channel opened by the fallen Mother Goddess and use his authority to infiltrate the power into the original barrier. For example, the Mother Tree of Desire and the Superstar Overlord used the help of the stars to form a clone that can walk freely within the original barrier. The two look similar, but the price they pay is very different. Even if the clones of the Mother Tree of Desire and the Superstar Overlord fall in the real world, as long as the stars are willing, they can send down a new clone at any time. But through the path built by the fallen Mother Goddess, too much power will be consumed, and this itself is to counter the power of the original barrier. As long as it passes through once, the cracks here will be easily repaired, and it will not be so easy to descend again next time. And to build such a channel, the help of the existence within the original barrier is also needed. Either a large-scale ceremony is held, or a secret existence at the Sequence 0 level helps to guide. It is far less troublesome and labor-saving than descending through the Hall of Stars. Inside the Hall of Stars, Hasta sat in his seat, thinking about how to cross the initial barrier while patiently waiting for the action of the Ring of Destiny. Once the Ring of Destiny is about to succeed, he will try to perform the star art. After about a few days, the passage in front of the Ring of Destiny was guided by the secret existence in the initial barrier, gathering the power of fate, and sending a destiny clone into the initial barrier with the strongest power as much as possible. Finally, I've waited. Hasta was in a good mood. He looked at the star representing the Ring of Destiny, trying to treat him as a white chess piece, using the authority of the Hall of Stars to pull the star he was on to slam into the black chess piece represented by the fallen Mother Goddess. The two stars collided violently in the starry sky like two chess pieces, stirring up brilliant brilliance. Hasta's eyes looked through the stars at the fate ring and the fallen Mother Goddess outside the crack of the initial barrier. At the moment when he performed the Yixing technique, the fate ring, which was invading the crack of the initial barrier with its own power, suddenly lost control of its power, and was uncontrolled and undriven, and slammed into the fallen Mother Goddess who was escorting him. The unbalanced fate hit the fallen Mother Goddess who was not prepared at all. In just that moment, a hole was knocked out in the abyss black curtain around the fallen Mother Goddess, hurting her body. Not only that, the uncontrolled power also indirectly caused this channel of the crack of the initial barrier to explode suddenly.
The backlash power cooperated with the power of the initial barrier and rushed to the fate ring, which could not control its power for a short time.
The glory of fate dimmed in an instant. The fate of the cycle, the fate ring that controls the fate of cause and effect, tasted the fate fruit brewed by the cause of fate at this moment. Is the effect so obvious? Hasta also found this scene a bit unbelievable. He was only a sequence 2. Although he used the power of the Hall of Stars, being able to influence the two outer gods, the Ring of Fate and the fallen Mother Goddess, was already a heaven-defying ability.
Tisk, it's a pity that it won't be so easy to launch a sneak attack next time. The sudden change shocked and astonished both the Ring of Fate and the fallen Mother Goddess.
Unfortunately, they were far from being simple-minded. They did not turn against each other because of such an accident. Instead, they thought and discussed and then cast their suspicious eyes on the stars. It should be his authority. At that moment, I couldn't control the power in my body. It was as if someone was controlling me from a distance. Control from a distance, such authority should be the stars suddenly taking action in the dark. And I just followed the line of fate to explore, and was blocked by a brilliant starry sky in front of my destiny. It can be basically confirmed that it was him.
The Ring of Fate analyzed calmly, but he couldn't help feeling a little cold in his heart. If this scene just happened at the moment of the life and death duel between him and other outer gods in the past, it would definitely be a winning hand that could turn the tide.
Most importantly, he realized from this episode that the power of the stars had increased again. Originally, his influence on him was not that great.
It must be after returning to the starry sky that he was one step closer to fully awakening.
Stars. The fallen Mother Goddess fell silent for a short time. Do you know some secrets about the stars? I originally just guessed the origin of the stars. Perhaps they are not the existence of this universe. As for other aspects, I don't know much. The fallen Mother Goddess slowly explained. I don't need to deceive you about this matter.
The tone of the Ring of Fate slowed down a bit. You are already the mortal enemy of the stars. If you don't take action against the stars, your situation will only become more and more difficult in the future.
The stars should not be able to pass through the original barrier in a short time. The fallen Mother Goddess glanced at the original barrier in front of her. I can feel the extreme rejection of the original barrier to him. Perhaps the consciousness of the original creator is really awakening slowly.
What do you mean? Every time the stars pass through the original barrier, the consciousness of the original creator will be further awakened. This may be the truth contained in the ancient prophecy that the stars return to their positions, chaos surges, and the initial awakening.
Your idea is too bold. Compared to the truth that the stars come from outside the universe, no matter how bold the guess is, it's just like this.
If it is true as you said, the stars will be the mortal enemy of all creatures in this universe.
He is the existence that invaded this universe. The terrifying guess was only in the communication between the Ring of Destiny and the fallen Mother Goddess. No other outer gods had heard of this possible taboo secret in the past.
In the Hall of Stars, Hasta was very satisfied with the ability of the chess star technique. At that moment, the Ring of Destiny and the fallen Mother Goddess became chess pieces on the chessboard, and he could fiddle with them at will.
Unfortunately, after performing the chess star technique once, the connection between the Ring of Destiny and the Hall of Stars weakened a bit. It would not be so easy to achieve such a good effect next time. After experimenting with the chess technique, Hasta continued to think about how to cross the initial barrier. There is a risky method that should work. When the Hall of Stars is still within the initial barrier, the starry sky portal can be built to lead the outer gods in the starry sky into the real world.
The reverse should also be possible. Let Grey carry prey, and then build a starry sky portal within the initial barrier, so that the Hall of Stars can return to the initial barrier.
But in this way, accidents are easy to happen. If other outer gods come to find their way, they will come when you cross back and have not closed the starry sky portal in time, and the doomsday will come early. It is equivalent to forgetting to bring your keys when you go out and cannot open the door to go home. You want your child to climb in through the window to help you open the door. Such behavior is naturally risky. Moreover, after further taking charge of the Hall of Stars, he can feel that the starry sky is the best destination for the Hall of Stars, and it itself has no interest in crossing the initial barrier again and returning to the real world.
It just wants to stay in the vast chessboard of the starry sky and fiddle with the chess pieces as it pleases.
The authority of the star path has become more and more obvious. Let's solve the promotion ceremony required for sequence 1 first. 3 dead stars. Hastur's eyes fell on the starry sky in front of him and began to search for those dead stars. If he met a suitable one, he would use the authority of returning to his position to awaken the dead stars. However, he still needed to understand this starry sky. He first got familiar with the abilities of Sequence 2 in the Hall of Stars, and then tried to awaken those dead stars. The lamp god should be a good guide. A month is just a very short moment for the starry sky, and it has passed before even opening the eyelids.
After returning to the starry sky, the magic lamp has restored its complete posture, and the former son of chaos will shine in the starry sky again.
He will once again make his name resound throughout the starry sky that has been missing him for a long time. The lamp god originally thought so, but the shining starry sky has been completed by the stars in advance. At this stage, it is impossible for him to suppress the light belonging to the stars. On this day, he was suddenly summoned to the Hall of Stars. In the mysterious and solemn Hall of Stars, only the stars sat alone at the head of the long table. The lamp god just glanced at the stars and sat back in his original position. This was the first time he had a conversation with the stars in the Hall of Stars.
You keep your promise. For me who has mastered the rules and order, such words are not a compliment.
At least in my eyes, such a covenant is a plus.
The lamp god was in a good mood and wanted to say a few more words of humility, but he heard the stars change the subject. There are too many dead stars in this starry sky, which makes the stars dim.
It is much better now than before. In the years when the 3 pillars of the fallen Mother Goddess, the Lord of Mysteries, and God were all in the starry sky, there were too many outer gods who fell in the old days, and the stars that were broken were too numerous to count. Among the fallen in the starry sky battles you witnessed, are there any stars that impressed you? The lamp god's heart moved instantly, and he seemed to guess what the stars meant by this question. The stars want to wake them up? The lamp god's tone trembled slightly. You still have a recommendation quota. Hastur just spoke calmly, and he did not directly say his purpose.
By speaking in this tactful way, not only can the lamp god help me answer my doubts, but also sell a favor to the lamp god. Maybe he will have to thank me. Do the stars know my past? Just a little bit. The genie was silent for a while, then said with emotion, I have made some good companions in the starry sky, but in this chaotic and dangerous starry sky, they have fallen one after another, and finally I gave up the idea of traveling with other outer gods.
It seems that you have a past worth remembering. That was a long time ago. I don't mind, you can continue to speak freely. Asta wanted to say this, but in order not to destroy the image of the stars, he could only say, the word long ago is not suitable for you. Well, it's just a momentary feeling. The genie quickly regained his mind and popularized a long history of the starry sky to Asta, and mentioned several outer gods who once shone in the starry sky. Not all outer gods are ancient. A large part of the outer gods in the current starry sky have grown up by devouring or stepping on the corpses of more ancient outer gods. For example, the Ring of Fate and the Weaver of Destiny are the younger generation of outer gods compared to the existence of the fallen Mother Goddess and the genie. There was an ancient being in the starry sky who almost controlled the entire destiny. If he succeeded, he could control the destiny of all living beings in the entire starry sky. Such authority is no less than that of the original creator, so it is natural that he fell because of greed. The Ring of Fate and the Weaver of Fate both began to shine in the starry sky gradually after his fall. They must have received the legacy of that ancient one, or perhaps one of them is a part of that ancient one. Such a situation is very common in the starry sky. Where there is a fall, there is a rebirth. That ancient one called himself Destiny itself, but the outer gods at that time liked to call him the creator of destiny. The later Weaver of Fate had some of his style. Or it can be said that the Ring of Fate and the Weaver of Fate together are the creator of destiny. In addition to this creator of destiny, the lamp god also mentioned some other ancient ones who have fallen. For example, the beginning and end of all things, the Elder of Time, the Father God of Origin, the Eternal Glory. The history of the starry sky is too vast, and there are too many outer gods that were born. Some of them shine like comets, some fall like meteorites, and some are still immortal. The lamp god admitted that the history of the starry sky he knew was just a corner. There are also wonderful stories in the corners of the starry sky that he has never been to and has never heard of. Hasta only paid a little attention to a few more interesting outer gods, and then asked the lamp god to start using the recommendation quota that was given to him at the beginning. Can the fallen outer gods also be used? The lamp god still couldn't believe it. Hasta didn't speak, but just smiled at him. I believe in the authority of the stars. The lamp god looked at Hasta deeply, and recommended a companion who had fallen for who knows how many years, and that was a comrade in arms who had fought side by side. The Origin Father God. This title is really predestined for the lamp god, Hasta secretly complained in his heart. An Origin Father God, a son of chaos, a father and a son. If the fallen mother god is added, it's really hard to say. Hasta agreed to the recommendation of the lamp god, and asked the lamp god to take him to the place where the original father god fell, or where his consciousness might still remain. The main ability of the authority of returning to the position is to return, not to resurrect. If he really died without any trace, then the authority of returning to the position could not force him to return. But it is also very difficult to make a powerful outer god completely fall. The lamp god led the way in the starry sky, and Hasta sat in the hall of stars waiting. When the lamp god arrived at the place where his former companion fell, his voice trembled rarely. Is it really possible? If he has not completely fallen. Hasta answered, and then a starlight incarnation descended from the hall of stars and appeared beside the lamp god, and began to use the authority of returning to the position. At this moment, he was like a high priest singing ancient songs, communicating with the entire starry sky, and his soul returned. The authority of returning to the position is indeed similar to the ability of summoning souls, but it is more advanced. Under the call of the returning authority, the naked eye can see circles of translucent ripples appearing in the starry sky. It seems that something is really crossing life and death, crossing time and space, and gathering from all over the free starry sky. But such fluctuations only last for a moment, and the little consciousness that originally gathered back was swallowed by the attracted outer god Old Day. On this day, the lamp god who restored the power of the son of chaos roared in anger in the starry sky again. The outer god Old Day who blocked the returning authority was directly torn alive by the lamp god and crushed into slag. After doing all this, the lamp god looked at the empty starry sky and asked unwillingly, "Is it over? Are you still looking forward to miracles?" Hasta deliberately spoke slowly. "I believe in the stars." The lamp god gave a perfect answer. "Return." Hasta sighed in his heart and used the return authority again. This is not a skill that can only be used once. If it is interrupted, just use it again. If the authority to return to the position can be disturbed so easily, then the stars are too inferior. The lamp god who saw this scene had mixed feelings. He felt that he had just been fooled by the stars. He asked him whether he believed in miracles, but why didn't he ask him whether he believed in light? But fortunately, this is still a happy thing. Soon, the consciousness that gathered from all over the starry sky gradually condensed into a mung bean-sized dot, and then glowed slightly. Later, the light became stronger and stronger, and then gathered into an illusory light and shadow. The lamp god seemed very excited. Hasta just glanced at it, then turned away in surprise, silently complaining in his heart, "Why is it called the Origin Father God? This is obviously a great and kind father." Well, born from the will of despair, with a tendency to destroy, Nurgle controls all viruses and plagues. He accepts all believers, regardless of old or ugly, good or evil. He is tolerant and tolerant of the world, like a kind father leading his beloved son all the way. A very classic green-skinned toad image. "Oh, look, isn't this my good friend, the son of chaos? Are you here to accompany me? Without the great father leading you forward, are you tired of this lonely and misty starry sky? Come, throw yourself into my arms, let the father's care soothe your tortured and suffering soul." Before the lamp god spoke, his good companion and good friend opened his big mouth full of teeth and made a series of loud shouts. "Hey, old man, you are not dead yet. I used the power of the stars to call back your little consciousness from the abyss of despair. The lamp god, who didn't know what face was, felt embarrassed and embarrassed.
Oh, I heard it, a strange call, he is leading me through the darkness and coldness of eternity. That is the power of the stars. Stars. This starry sky is becoming more and more colorful.
As soon as this sentence was finished, the shadow of the origin father god in the mouth of the lamp god gradually dimmed, leaving only a tiny bit of light, which could go out at any time. The lamp god looked at the stars in surprise, hoping that he could answer his questions. He needs to complete this last step by himself. Hasta suppressed the urge to complain at the moment. Obviously, he had used the power of returning to his position to restore the little consciousness of the father god of origin, but he seemed to have not yet recognized the current situation and used his already tiny power to talk nonsense with the god of lamp.
Now that this little power has been exhausted, it will take at least a long time to recover. But for him, this has already completed the awakening of the dead stars, and the goal has been achieved.
He just fell for too long, which caused his mind to be a little confused. The god of lamp explained for his comrade, and then whispered, "Thank you." See, in the end, he still has to thank himself, right?
Hasta just nodded, and this incarnation of the stars dissipated in front of the god of lamp.
As for the follow-up of the father god of origin, it depends on his own will. Inside the hall of stars, Hasta retracted his gaze from the god of lamp. Thinking of the image of the father god of origin just now, he still couldn't hold back, the great and loving father and his good eldest son. I really shouldn't believe that the god of lamp would have a very normal friend. I really have expectations of the god of lamp that I shouldn't have. After complaining, Hasta felt much better. Just when the father god of origin returned from the dead silence, he did sense some fluctuations in the hall of stars. This is indeed the promotion ceremony to sequence 1, awakening 3 dead stars. If you count the awakening of God's consciousness and Grey Carry and Night Emperor, there are at least 3 stars.
It seems that it's time to be promoted to sequence 1 star singer. Hasta sat in meditation in the Hall of Stars for 2 days, confirming that his condition had returned to the best, and then took the magic potion of sequence 1 star singer. For the vast starry sky, the shining light of the stars, although bright, will soon return to the deep darkness and silence like this starry sky. Now most of the awakened outer gods are lying outside the original barrier, drooling, wanting to reach their tentacles in and then feast on it. Unfortunately, the original barrier is still an insurmountable barrier for them. The fallen mother goddess was very active during this period, and many outer gods chose to join her camp and stand on the opposite side of the stars. The reason why they chose their position is also very simple, because the stars return to their positions, chaos surges, and the ancient prophecy of the original awakening. This ancient prophecy has spread throughout the starry sky before the stars have begun to emerge. The appearance of the stars just verified the credibility of this ancient prophecy. For the outer gods who have already stood at the top of this universe, they naturally do not want the consciousness of the original creator to awaken. At the same time, they are also afraid that the stars will awaken the original creator. When the original creator wakes up, the universe will restart. As visitors from outside the universe, the stars can survive, and they will all become the nutrients of the new universe. Even without the banner of the fallen mother goddess, the outer gods of the old days who knew the origin of the stars would spontaneously choose to stand on the opposite side of the stars. One is one of the pillars of the universe itself, and the other is a visitor from outside the universe. The lamp god did not participate in these messy things. He was concentrating on guarding the green bean-sized light spot to prevent this awakened consciousness from being eaten by the hungry outer gods of the old days. Even the Mother Tree of Desire and the Superstar Lord wanted to discuss things with him, but he was isolated from them. Finally, this tiny light spot of consciousness once again condensed into a familiar figure. This time, the lamp god did not wait for the father god of origin to speak, wasting the consciousness that he had finally gathered. He told the father god of origin what had happened during this period at a very fast speed. After a while, the father god of origin said with a sense of loss, crossing the death of eternity to reach the present world. Recover well, your current condition is still very bad. Stars. He is an accident, a miracle, and in the future, maybe he will be a legend.
The father god of origin did not speak again, and the shadow shrank back into the light spot, hibernating and recuperating. After solving the matter of the father god of origin, the lamp god had the mind to intervene in the current chaos in the starry sky. He found the mother tree of desire and the superstar master, and happened to meet the king of decline here. "Tell me, what did you want to talk to me about before?" the lamp god said carelessly. "Stars and starry sky." The mother tree of desire said these two keywords in a deep voice. "Do you want to join the camp of the fallen mother god?" the lamp god said sarcastically.
The stars are invaders from outside the universe. This has been confirmed. The entire starry sky will be in turmoil because of this.
Tisk. Why didn't I see clearly before that you would care so much about the survival of this starry sky? The lamp god still said with disdain.
Son of chaos, put away your mocking claws. We should not and do not need to have a grudge because of this matter, the decayed king said. The prophecy of the stars is related to the survival of the entire starry sky. The original creator must not wake up. You want to discuss this with the stars. The lamp god looked much more serious. The prophecy of the stars has spread throughout this starry sky. No matter what the reason, we have no reason to continue to go to the Hall of Stars to help the stars. The superstar overlord also expressed his opinion. The struggle between them and the fallen mother goddess is more about power, but once the stars awaken the original creator, the nature will be completely different. They will not help the fallen mother goddess camp, but there is no reason to stand on the side of the stars.
So you came to me to discuss, to confirm my position? You have the closest relationship with the stars. The lamp god was speechless for a while. He thought that he and the stars were more of a trade and cooperation. As for personal relationships, he didn't think he was that close to the stars. But in the eyes of the mother tree of desire, the superstar overlord and other old outer gods, he seemed to be a follower conquered by the stars?
He was a bridge for them to talk with the stars. What a strange new identity.
Since you have so many ideas, why don't you go to the Hall of Stars together and be frank? The lamp god gave his own suggestion. So we found you. Fuck. The lamp god was speechless for a while, and finally agreed to their proposal to go to the Hall of Stars to communicate with the stars to see if a star meeting could be held in advance. Things went smoothly. It took him less than half a day to solve the matter, and the stars agreed to hold a star meeting in advance. When the lamp god told the mother tree of desire and the superstar lord about this news, the lamp god could keenly feel that their eyes looking at him had a different expression. The lamp god was too lazy to explain. In the Hall of Stars, the lamp god, the mother tree of desire, the superstar lord, the decayed king, and the glorious hunter arrived here again. A more mysterious, ancient, solemn and sacred atmosphere than before filled the entire Hall of Stars. They all had a feeling in their hearts that the current Hall of Stars seemed to have surpassed this starry sky, which made them all feel a kind of oppression. At the same time, they also clearly felt that the power of their clones was much stronger than before, which meant that the power that the Hall of Stars could accommodate and contain was stronger, and the stars were further awakened. When they entered the Hall of Stars, sat in their respective seats, and looked at the stars sitting in the first place, the aura on him became more and more unfathomable, as if he was the starry sky itself at this moment. His gaze is the bright direction of the entire starry sky, and his words and deeds are the pulse of the starry sky. The stars are gradually surpassing the starry sky. If they can see the symbol of pillars in the fallen mother goddess, God, and the Lord of Mystery, then what they see in the stars at this moment is the symbol of transcendence. He does not belong to this universe, and will eventually surpass this starry sky, and then transcend the boundaries of this universe. They couldn't help but look at each other, and began to seriously consider what they wanted to say in their hearts. The lamp god seemed to be unaware and glanced at the mother tree of desire and other outer gods. The star meeting has started in advance. Didn't you say that you have something to discuss with the stars? There is indeed something I want to ask the stars clearly, the mother tree of desire spoke first. Hasta just smiled gently, looked at him calmly, and signaled the mother tree of desire to continue. We want to know whether the stars from outside this universe will really awaken the original creator. This question is not only what he wants to know, but also the superstar lords present want to know the truth. The outer gods who have awakened and returned to the starry sky are also waiting for the answer to this question.
The stars return to their positions, chaos surges, and the first awakens. Hastur just smiled and read this sentence again, and then said, "Before I arrived in this universe, the prophecy of the stars had already resounded throughout the starry sky." What do you think is the origin of this ancient prophecy?
The prophecy of the stars seems to have suddenly appeared in the starry sky. As for the source, the mother tree of desire paused here. He didn't know which existence first said the prophecy of the stars, and how it spread throughout the starry sky. It seems that no outer god Old One has delved into this issue. After all, they just listened to it as a joke at the beginning. After all, there are too many prophecies in the starry sky. The Ring of Fate and the Weaver of Fate also like to use the power of prophecy when they kill their enemies. The Jinn, the Superstar Overlord, the Decayed King, and the Glorious Hunter were silent at the same time. They didn't know the answer to this question either. Before the stars came, there were prophecies about the stars. Who among you can peek into the trajectory of the stars in the future? Hastur asked another question. After experiencing the last incident, he thought about many things in this regard. Especially for this prophecy of the stars, if he didn't handle it well, he would become the enemy of all the outer gods Old Ones in the entire starry sky. He would become the public enemy of the entire starry sky without the incitement of the fallen Mother God. He couldn't help but think seriously. It's difficult for us to peek into the stars, let alone see the future of the stars. The Mother Tree of Desire gave her own answer. She didn't think the fallen Mother Goddess could do this, and neither did God and the Lord of Mystery. Then, there was only one possibility left. But by then, the original creator had fallen. So how could she spread the relevant prophecy? Unless the stars in this prophecy of the stars don't refer to the stars that come from outside the universe and control the Hall of Stars? The stars can refer to the stars in front of us, or all the stars in the endless starry sky, or something else. Behind the spread of a prophecy, there is often a purpose it wants to achieve. Hastur commented lightly, then smiled and said, "If I really want to awaken the original creator, do you think you can stop it?" Before they answered, Hastur whispered again, almost like a devil, "You are all part of the original creator." Inexplicable fear began to spread, and the lamp god suddenly felt a hairy feeling in his heart, as if the consciousness of the original creator was really going to wake up from his body little by little. He looked at the Mother Tree of Desire, the Superstar Overlord, etc. uneasily, and found that they and himself had reacted to the words of the stars. This is just a simple sentence. If the stars call for the return of the original creator in front of their original bodies. At that time, what they are facing is most likely the fact that the original creator wakes up in their bodies. Because they are all part of the original creator, theoretically, the original creator can wake up in any of them, or in the bodies of all living beings. After a moment of silence, the Decayed King sighed. No one is willing to give the right to choose their own life to other beings. Because this means that they have surrendered to the stars. And this is obviously impossible. They would rather risk the original creator waking up and returning, and do their best to solve the stars. Hastur also understands this truth. Luo Ji, who controls the button of life and death of mankind, is not a hero loved by everyone in the end. Let's reveal the story about the original creator. The Jinn felt more and more that this was a taboo topic. The more we discussed it, the earlier the consciousness of the original creator seemed to awaken. Will what I bring from outside the universe definitely be destruction? Hastur said in a relaxed tone. Perhaps my arrival, for this starry sky, will be a kind of redemption and a kind of transcendence. This is just a useless assumption, they won't believe it. The Mother Tree of Desire knew very well the old stance of the outer gods in the starry sky. What about you? We have no intention of standing on the opposite side of the stars. The Mother Tree of Desire was the first to express its stance. When we first went to the Palace of Stars, all we wanted was to enter the initial barrier to find the source matter sealed by the Lord of Mysteries. We have no conflict of interest with the stars. The source of matter is our purpose of staying outside the initial barrier. Ahem, we are the rare peace-loving outer gods of the past. The Jinn also said something with a shy face, although even he himself would not believe it. Peace-loving? Why don't you say you stand for love and justice? Hasta silently complained in his heart, and then looked around at the jinn and other outer gods. The starry sky is a sea that belongs to the stars. No matter which side there you choose, it still cannot change this fact. We are still willing to pay a certain price to go within the initial barrier. The speaker was the mother tree of desire, whose clone had died due to jealousy and madness. The Hall of Stars can still be a place for you to gather in the future. Hasta also expressed his attitude. He doesn't want to fall out with the mother tree of desire, superstar master, etc. at the moment. After all, he still needs to use their power to deal with Adam and the true creator. The ability currently displayed by the Palace of Stars can only protect himself. If he wants to deal with Adam, the true creator, or the outer god of the past, he still lacks the necessary offensive means. He needs time to grow. The jinn smiled and said, "It seems that both of us have achieved a satisfactory result." The mother tree of desire and others recognized the words of the jinn god, and then Hasta let them talk freely about the starry sky today. He also wanted to know what the starry sky is like today. From the words of the jinn, the mother tree of desire, and the superstar lord, he more intuitively understood what it was like to be an enemy of this starry sky. Due to the sudden change in the starry sky some time ago, the initial defensive strength of the barrier was a little weak. This made more and more outer gods choose to join the camp of the fallen mother goddess in the past, and then through the channels opened by the fallen mother goddess and the connections within the initial barrier, they infiltrated their power one after another. Part of them is to compete for the Siren, and part of them is to deal with him. If you want to find your own flaws in the real world, people and things close to you will become targets. Hearing this, Hasta looked calm and disapproving, but he was inevitably worried about the situation of Sharon and Audrey. When this temporary meeting of stars came to an end, the mother tree of desire and the superstar master came up with a hypothesis, that is, every time the stars pass through the initial barrier, the power of the initial barrier will be weakened. This is part of the truth they gleaned from the changes caused by the last time the stars came to the starry sky. This forced Hasta to reconsider his return to the real world. After sending away the mother tree of desire, the superstar master, the declined king, and the glorious hunter, the jinn chose to stay alone. "Stars, why didn't you bring the black devourer to the Hall of Stars today? What do you want to say?" Hasta looked at the jinn with a smile. "I just think you shouldn't let down your guard against the black devourer because of his help last time. He is not as simple as he seems on the surface. What do you know? I'm just giving the stars a warning, but I think the stars have already kept a certain distance from him." After the jinn said these words, he stood up and left the Hall of Stars. After seeing them off, Hasta sat in the calm and silent Palace of Stars, looking at the increasingly bright starry sky. He had been promoted to Singer of Sequence 1 star during this period, and originally wanted to find a way to return to the real world, but the words of the Desire Mother Tree made him think deeply. There was indeed some connection between the Palace of Stars and the initial barrier, and he felt it himself at the moment when he crossed the initial barrier. The original barrier, the original creator. Could it be that he has given birth to a ray of consciousness and is hiding in the original barrier? No, it probably hasn't reached that point yet. It's instinct, the instinct to be hostile and wary of the stars. Perhaps the relationship between the stars and the original creator is like God and the Lord of Mysteries. Sometimes mortal enemies can promote each other's awakening. In the Republic of Intis, the descendant of the Gustav family relied on the platform and help of the Church of Steam to gradually regain the land of Intis and began to rebuild the capital of Intis, Trier. Roger Gustav will hold a coronation ceremony 10 days later and will completely become the consul ruling the Republic of Intis, attracting a lot of attention here. When there were only 2 days left for the coronation ceremony, Klein rarely came out of Source Castle to take a breath. Will told him that Mr. Hasta had successfully climbed to the stars and escaped from trouble, and still had the power to intervene in the real world. After hearing this, Klein felt relieved to leave Saphira Castle. He should also prepare for the promotion to Sequence 3 Ancient Scholar. He was still very confident about this sequence. With the knowledge and secrets he had mastered, he estimated that the potion of the Ancient Scholar would melt in his mouth. Walking on the streets of Trier, reconstruction was going on everywhere, trying to make Trier the capital of the shining Intis Republic again. Klein walked towards the White Maple Palace, which was once the place where Russell fell, and now became the palace of his descendants. Ding-ling-ling, a bicycle bell rang, and Klein subconsciously avoided it to avoid being hit by the bicycle. But the bicycle bell did not weaken because of his avoidance, but became more and more impatient. Klein noticed something was wrong, and instantly his whole body was on fire, burning his paper mannequin incarnation. When his figure appeared in a house a few hundred meters away, the impatient bicycle bell rhythm became stronger and stronger, shaking him dizzy and headache. There was no way, he could only destroy his secret doll. This time, he did not hear the impatient and strange car bell again. But a familiar voice followed. "Fool, I finally waited for you." This was Amon's voice. Klein immediately became alert, and quickly left his original position through the ability of the trickster, and changed direction several times in succession, and finally broke into the White Maple Palace directly. But Amon's voice still rang in his ears, very clear. "I have been waiting for you here for a long time." Klein felt that all the thoughts in his mind disappeared in an instant, even the idea of escaping was stolen, and he just stood there blankly. But soon, he reacted again and thought about returning directly to Saphira Castle to avoid Amon's sudden attack. But the next second, he denied this decision, just standing there quietly, without any panic on his face. "Amon, is this game fun?" "Of course it's not bad." As soon as Amon's voice came out, hundreds of thunders fell from the sky, washing all the areas near Klein. Amon's voice instantly quieted down, and Klein just watched this scene calmly. He has someone protecting him now. The stars, will, and the God of knowledge and wisdom are all watching everything that happens here. It's not that easy for Amon to deal with him. "I just want to come and chat with you, why are you so alert?" Amon's voice sounded again, and at the same time a black sky covered the sky of Trier, covering the temptation from the outside world. They are indeed watching everything, but there are also many secret beings watching them. Amon said a meaningful word and appeared in front of Klein, stealing his thoughts of escaping and seeking help from the stars. "You are afraid?" Klein sneered. "I was just wondering why you and Hasta, who are just ordinary people, can be recognized by Saphira Castle and the Hall of Stars." "Of course it's because we have justice in our hearts," Klein said with a smile. "You don't have much time left, are you going to kill me?" "Time is running out." Amon nodded, pushed his monocle, and looked further away. "You seem to know that I can't directly invade Saphira Castle? What do you think? It should be the stars that told you." Amon's tone was a little unpredictable. "What do you want to do?" Klein had a bad premonition in his heart. "For the stars and the enviable snake of fate, you have a high priority." Amon looked up at the black sky that had been torn apart. The starry sky was so bright. "If they take you into consideration, it will be difficult for them to take care of others." The corners of Amon's mouth rose slightly. His target from the beginning was not Klein who came to Trier, but the hiding Pales. In the kingdom of Lowen, far away from Intis, Pales, who had left Leonard, was now hiding in a library in a university in South Wales as an administrator. Without the stars patrolling the sky and watching everything, Amon and the real creators would definitely be ready to move. So he stayed away from Leonard and hid here, but was still found by Amon. He tried to fight with all his strength, but he was still no match for Amon. However, the starry sky here was already covered, and the stars' eyes could not focus on this place in a short time. Amon just glanced at him calmly, and then used the bone church borrowed from Adam to trap Pales. The next second, he took Pales and the bone church away from here quickly. There was a tearing sound from the sky, and the sky covered by the black curtain was torn apart. Thunders sounded in the air, but no target was found. Amon had already known about this development, so he would not waste too much time with Pales in one place. Even if the stars were watching everything, as long as he changed his position at any time, the stars' attacks would always fall behind him. After several moves, Amon took the bone church back to the black holy mountain of the true creator. He only needed a little time, and Adam and the true creator could definitely buy him that little time. The stars could help will take away the extraordinary characteristics of Ouroboros, and now the true creator could also help him do this. In the starry sky and the Hall of Stars, Hester watched all this and knew that the extraordinary characteristics of Sequence 1 Worm of Time on Pales could not be saved. He could only save his life at best. He needed time to react across the starry sky and the Hall of Stars, and Aemon made a feint at Klein, delaying the best time. More importantly, saving Pales was not a high priority. The extraordinary characteristics of Worm of Time on Pales would have to be sacrificed sooner or later, first to make Aemon successful, and then to make Klein successful. Pales was destined to be a victim on the road to the Lord of Mysteries. He had no external support and had lost the qualification to compete. Only by withdrawing in time could he guarantee his life. Stars shine. Fury of falling stars. Asta used these two abilities for the first time. His abilities were instantly amplified through the Hall of Stars. The entire starry sky trembled and burst into a brighter light than ever before. Then, a complete small planet, pulled by Asta's power, passed through the initial barrier and smashed into the Black Holy Mountain. Aemon, who was suppressing Pales and taking away the extraordinary characteristics in his body, looked up and saw that the sky above his head was full of potholes and spots of that star. It occupied the entire starry sky and was pressing down towards the Black Holy Mountain. The heavy pressure caused the sea around the Black Holy Mountain to explode, and the Black Holy Mountain was constantly pressed into the sea. Aemon did not dare to delay any longer. With the help of the true Creator, he quickly took away the extraordinary characteristics in Pales' body, and then disappeared with the Black Holy Mountain at a high speed. But no matter where the Black Holy Mountain escaped to, the huge star above his head that was pressing down on him was still hanging above his head. The kingdom of God of the true Creator has been locked. Aemon saw this and showed a solemn expression on his face. He could clearly feel that the power of the stars was much stronger than before he ascended to the starry sky. If the stars were not now separated from the initial barrier, he would never be able to take Pallas away this time. Unfortunately, you are blocked outside the starry sky. For the initial barrier, you are already an invader. Aemon muttered to himself, and the next second he was transferred out of the Black Holy Mountain by the true Creator. The meaning was very clear. The true Creator wanted him to leave the Black Holy Mountain first to avoid accidents. Invader, heretic from outside the starry sky. How long will your glory shine? Until the end of the destruction of this starry sky. Aemon just moved away, but his eyes did not leave the Black Holy Mountain. Under his gaze, the locked Black Holy Mountain was pressed down by the falling meteorite, causing the entire sea area to collapse. The Black Holy Mountain was the first to bear the brunt and was completely blown to pieces in the violent roar. After all, it still paid the price of a kingdom of God. Aemon did not stay there any longer, but quickly left the area to avoid the gaze of the stars, so as not to bring terrible revenge on himself. Pallas, who was enveloped by the light of the stars, was safe and sound in the meteorite explosion. Looking at the starry sky that had already restrained its sharpness, he secretly sighed that he was still found by Aemon. If he had been more careful, if he had discovered the danger earlier and prayed to the stars, he should have been able to avoid this disaster. Actually, this is not bad. The life of a lonely exile is really boring. Pallas was not too sad. Judging from the current situation, the prelude to the War of Gods has been opened. Adam and the true Creator are paving the way for Aemon to become a god. If he keeps this sequence 1 Beander characteristic on him, then the one who finds him next time will no longer be Aemon, but the ancient sun god. The stars in the starry sky cannot stop the ancient sun god from doing what he wants to do in time. I was able to keep my life, which was a blessing from the stars. Otherwise, the real Creator would have buried me and his kingdom together. This was to make the stars calm down their anger temporarily. After thinking about this, Pales felt relaxed. He was no longer qualified to participate in the future battle between gods. It was better to leave it to Aemon and the future fool to fight. Trier, Aemon beside Klein disappeared without a trace when he succeeded. The next moment, Russell appeared next to Klein. There was a strange clone of an alien god wandering nearby just now, and I couldn't get there in time. Russell explained, and said angrily, "This damn thief, if Adam and the true Creator hadn't protected him, he would have been killed long ago. I have fallen down countless times. Perhaps Amon's target today was not me from the beginning to the end. I was just a bait used by him to divert attention." Klein sighed, "It's better to stay on top of Origin Castle for safety. You are now the Sequence 4 Conspiracy Mage. so I can't stay in Source Castle all the time. Let's go and sit in my new palace. Russell affectionately put his arm around Klein's shoulders and led him outside his palace. By the way, my current identity is Roger Gustav.
Quote. Klein could only reluctantly praise, "This is really a name that matches your temperament."
Do you also think this name is a good one? Russell's eyes lit up, and Klein had a bad feeling in his heart. Do you know how many brain cells I wasted trying to come up with this name? I even made a series of permutations and combinations and listed dozens of names. Even my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather of this identity all had a name. Klein could only nod silently, listening to Russell's talkative narration. After entering the palace and being watched by others, Russell regained his mature and steady side. When the two came to the study, Russell said, "Klein, come to me, and work with me to regain the lost territory of the Intis Republic and make Intis great again." This sentence structure sounds so familiar. Shouldn't it be paired with some body movements and a bright red scarf? Klein complained silently in his heart. The higher you go on the extraordinary path, the more difficult it becomes to get promoted. You can still rely on your own strength now, but in the future you will definitely need other people to help you collect extraordinary materials and related intelligence. The power of a person is limited, but the power of a country can move much faster than you imagine. I am willing to measure Intis's material strength and your happiness.
Russell looked at Klein with burning eyes. "Great Emperor, can we stop playing tricks all the time?"
Klein originally had something in mind, but with Russell's last words, his power was instantly broken. Russell saw Klein's thoughts and said with a smile, "Don't be so serious. Isn't the current Spring Festival gala almost turning into a silly brat? I promised not to make fun of you, but here you are again."
Klein calmed down a little and then said, "Your proposal is very good, let me think about it again." If he didn't have to endure Russell's verbal bombardment all the time, he would have the intention to stay in Intis for a while.
"Don't worry, after the coronation ceremony, I will personally conquer the country and completely take back the lost land of Intis. This matter has been decided." Russell didn't give Klein another chance to refuse. He had already begun to rub his chin, thinking about giving Klein a new name, and then leaving him in Intis in good faith. "It doesn't sound like I'm trying to be a man's favorite."
Quote. Klein no longer wants to complain. He just wants to say that you, Emperor, are happy.
2 days later, Roger Gustav, the new consul of the Republic of Intis, performed his coronation ceremony with the blessing of the god of steam and machinery, and everything went smoothly. Klein stayed in the Republic of Intis under a new name, Antinous, as the sworn brother of Roger Gustav. This name was given by Russell. Although Klein once strongly resisted, he finally accepted it. Russell's little mouth is so eloquent. For more thrilling fanfiction stories like this, check out my channel Fanfic Audiobook. Dive into epic adventures, mysterious realms, and legendary journeys brought to life through immersive storytelling. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing audiobooks.